game. So, ibig sabihin, kahit sumama na siya sa mga next na team fight, it was a lot easier for Onyx. Then goes the lineup naman of a TLPH. So yes, you have a Hunter Strike and even Sky Piercer. Kaya nakita din natin na lamang sila pagdating doon sa game. Kaso kasi for Brusco's item, sumabay din siya. Nasa na yung anti-kiras niya. Si Brusco. Nagkaroon siya ng anti-kiras doon din kasabay nung sa 12 minutes. After nung, di ba nagdire-diretso, sinabi natin, 9:40 nagkaroon ng team fight. Pasara ng pasara, 10 minutes, 11 minutes, kaya na-build niya around the 12-minute mark. So with the anti-kiras dito, din ni Brusco, parang nangyari dito for TLPH, medyo nag-deplete din yung damage na meron sila. Kasi pinaka-damage naman talaga is gonna be Oheb with his Granger. Eh yung damage naman for Cartesius, hindi talaga expected kasi meant siya na ang damage per second mo is from the Granger. Tapos yung setup from JP was a lot easier na mag-disrupt kasi lagi nakaabang si Super Prince with the Enchanted Talisman, even the glowing one. So yung damage sana or even sustain ng TLPH was easily answered by Onyx Philippines. And kung titignan natin, yung naging takbo ng draft natin dito. So let's talk about the sustain dahil yung naging strength ng side ng TLPH. So for TLPH dito, you have 42,814 damage taken per death. So yung damage taken per death dito is not as good as compared to sa naging damage ng Granger. So parang the more na tumatagal sila sa team fight, yes, ang dami na susustain, pero hindi nakakapag-seal ng kills masyado or ng other objective yung TLPH. Same goes with the damage dealt naman. On the other side, you have 43,000 and 55,000 apiece for Super Prince and Kelra. So that alone, parang dito sa naging story ng damage taken per death plus the damage dealt, mahirap na para dito sa TLPH na mag-sustain or tumagal pagdating doon sa may team fight. So all in all, it's just Onyx Philippines knowing the strength of their hero composition, kaya naging maganda yung kanilang execution.
At malalaman natin kung magtutuloy pa ba yung magandang execution na yan for Onyx Philippines as we move on towards our series. Nakita natin yung farming na pinakita ng K&K Connection sa game number 2, nagbigay daan sa kanilang pagkabalik dito sa ating serye. 14 minutes in, 3 items na si Kenra, 12 minutes in, 3 items na si King Kong. At mamaya makikita natin kung ganon pa rin ba. Pero sa ngayon, babalik muna tayo sa Champions Arena para makausap ang ating mga hosts.
Maraming salamat sa ating panelists. It is now 1-1. Buhay pa ba ang Super Fam? They are A-OK and are looking to extend and break that momentum once further, Jamie.
But before we witness another intense game, I think we need to have an intense conversation with someone who is here straight from Indonesia.
Straight from Indonesia, joining us. Mirko, you over there?
Hey, Mirko!
Salamat malam, brother. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing good.
You know what? We want to talk to you about MPL Indonesia. How is it there so far? Talk to you about MPL Indonesia. How is it there so far? I know that the playoffs is approaching. Do you already have at least 2 representatives in mind that you want to see at MSC?
Definitely do, man. Yeah, MPL Indonesia is getting...
मुझे बोलेगा सुनेगा छैन
honestly, some really good matches. They're set up properly for the playoffs. It'll be on the 11th to the 15th.
फ्रिन्च को लुई अरे ओभर हान यार रनमतीको छोराले ग्रान्जरलाई त आइया पनि भन्न नदिकन मार्दिरा यार रनमा हाले यार आइया पनि भन्न पाएन यार ग्रान्जरले है
Okay. You know what? Let's get the biased answer out of the way first.
All right.
ओनिक को केटाहरु पनि छौ तिमीहरु
All right.
तर आज TLPH ले जित्यो यार
Can you hear us now, Mirko?
Bigatron, best team in the world. That's what's gonna happen. All right, that's the biased answer.
All right.
That's the biased answer.
Okay, so Bigatron is one. Who's the other?
I think Onyx, bro. Onyx ID.
So that's Bigatron and Onyx ID for Mirko, Jamie.
What about your objective answer, though, Mirko? Who do you think will win
फोनबाट हो क्या
this
वाट
season
पढिँदै
for MPL
पीसीमै
Indonesia?
गरौँ अरे पीसीमा पनि गर्न मिल्छ भाइ
So RQ Geek Fam, they're number 1, number 2 in MPL Indonesia. We've never had a champion that didn't come through first or second place from the regular season. It's always been upper
फोनबाट हेरे
bracket.
पनि जेबाट हेरे पनि केटा एउटै त हो के अरे
So the objective answer, right? has to be among.
MLB को कोई top up गर्छौँ यहाँ अरे
pure
MLB को
Geek
top up
should
गर्ने
be.
छैन यार मेरो
I think
च्याटमा
Geek Fam will make it though. I think Geek Fam are definitely the best team in the regular season so far. The way they ended it, it was great. So
काइरी
Geek
कुन
Fam's
टिममा अरे
is
काइरी
out
फिलिपिन्समा
there
हैन नि
for the first
इन्डोनेसियामा
round.
यार ओनिक त ओनिक
Number
हो तर
2 though,
इन्डोनेसियामा
I'm thinking between RQ and Onyx, and I gotta say,
लाइबेसीको
Bigatron.
Still Bigatron. Okay. Well, you know what? I've been briefed, Mirko. I know you're a big fan of theirs, but let's talk about MPL Philippines. I know you're keeping yourself updated. It's a big day for us over here. Grand finals. Any predictions on who will take the Immortal Cup home?
Yeah, I want to know
Do you
about
really
this.
want my prediction though? Do you really want to know? Like, I think the fans in the building as well don't really want to know because it's a mere curse, bro. I don't know.
Okay. It's up to you.
Ada gare hane यार
We don't want to give the pressure to ourselves, but we're giving the pressure to you as of the moment. Is it going to be a mere curse or a mere bless? It's up to you to find out.
Okay. You know what? I want TLPH to win. So,
Okay.
Onyx Philippines will win. 4-3.
Ooh. Okay. So in your
Alright.
heart, you want Team Liquid Philippines to win.
Yes,
But
sir. That's why I'm
objectively
saying
speaking,
Onyx
you're
Philippines will win.
saying Onyx will win.
Yes,
Okay.
100%. Yeah.
Loud and clear, Mirko. We got your predictions in. Now, why don't you invite everybody watching right now to watch not only MPL Philippines, but also MPL Indonesia? I know the playoffs will happen in June, right? Go ahead, Mirko.
11th to 15th of June, guys, catch MPL Indonesia. I'll be casting there. I think almost every day will be in the panel on the desk as well. So come and join. Watch the best team in the world win. And this team, hey, be careful, Philippines. I'm joking, by the way. I don't even know if they're going to make it past day one.
We shall see.
Mirko, why the downhill emotion all of a sudden? But you know what? It's nice to have you here, Mirko. I just have one
Thank
more
you, man.
question. I want to know more about MSC from last year and MSC from this year. What do you think is going to be the major difference?
I think the group stage is going to be fun, man. There will be a new format. I think it's already kind of like revealed to the world, but you guys will find out about it, I think, very, very soon. There'll be a video explaining it, and the format is kind of brutal for the group stage. Yeah, you guys just have to wait for it because single elimination, we already know about that. The group stage is going to be brutal.
I like
That's the
it.
difference.
I like it. Mirko, it is so nice to be here with you today. Hopefully you're doing well there, and we'll catch you in MPL Indonesia and MSC, all right? We'll see you next time, Mirko.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
bro.
much, Mirko. June 11th to 15th, watch MPL Indonesia. Now, more than the upcoming MSC and MWI tournaments, also watch the 5-part documentary on Esports World Cup to be released on June 6th. And this is entitled Level Up.
You know, that is also directed by...
यो त सजिलो छ हैन त्यही हो त क्यामेरा के हो यो अरे मुझे आज फाइनल हो लामो मिलन जुट्टी लौडी तिमीलाई मुझे कहिले जिन्दगीमा हेर्नु पर्यो नि म्याच चिकन अब गेम मात्र खेल्ने म चाहिँ यहाँ प्रो प्लेयर ओए मुझे यार मलाई त रणमतिको छोरा यार टिकटकले उयो ब्यान हान्छ है क्या हो यार म्याच चिकन जाने मेरो यो लौडी जस्तो के भएको यार रनमा यहाँ साउन्ड कस्तो गइरहेछ त लौडी जस्तो गेमको साउन्ड राम्रोसँग गएको छैन क्या गेमको साउन्ड आएको छैन क्या हो यो लौडी जस्तो के भएको यार रनमा यहाँ साउन्ड कस्तो गइरहेछ त लौडी जस्तो मैले बोलेको चाहिँ वो भनेको क्या गेमको साउन्ड आएको छैन क्या हो यो ब्याकग्राउन्डको बढेकै छैन क्या बुझिनस् यो यिनीहरू बोलेको पनि आउनु पर्यो नि त त्यो माथिको अटो
Especially these two going up against each other.
Oh yeah, and the Louis too.
Yep, Louis.
Still out there. So they're carefully thinking
your life is
about
not
what their
illegal
last
one,
ban
this,
is
okay?
actually gonna be.
You know, by the way, I find the lack of Badangs disturbing so
Yeah.
far. It's like we've seen an entire playoffs with Badang.
I don't know if it's
Maybe this time it's going to show up. It's a Bakshi's card.
Oh, yeah.
You need another strong, buff dude with muscles.
Now it's a badangable game. A lot are open. Chip, Louis, Joy. Who else is open?
the gold laners. They're all out there.
Yeah. But the thing is, if Onyx decide to go for Joy here, Team Liquid Philippines just pick the Fredrin in the third slot. Because Team Liquid Philippines can surprise and pick Loyi as one of the first two picks. So if ever, let's say, for example, this is Joy. Team Liquid Philippines can go Harith, Loyi, Fredrin for their first three picks. You're already showing your main course though, but then you can still play around the idea of getting the best possible matchups in the Roman EXP. So Onyx said, that's why we don't want to join. We'll pick up the Harith. Team Liquid Philippines don't need to pick up the Granger. That can go in the third slot here. And they need to consider the Loyi though.
That's the thing. Does Sanji willingly pick his hero in this part? Because I feel like for the past few games, it's almost always the blue shit. If ever it does show up, or if ever Sanji's pick does show up in the first phase, because if not, they often leave it for second.
Yeah.
Because the Farses are still out there, the Eves are still out there too. Earlier, he even had to use the Navaria.
Exactly. So, it's Team Liquid going for the Joy. And Liquid will double down on the chip.
Yeah.
Okay. This could be deadly.
Joy chip it's a likely to be a Joy chip Ranger now for Team Liquid Philippines in the first phase.
Oh. You know, the last time we saw a Louis chip matchup, Team Liquid Philippines versus Team Falcons, it felt like a pro match.
Yeah, I felt like this was Team Liquid Philippines. I understand the chip. They doubled down on the idea they could not give the Joy and Harith together. But then again, even if that happened, they could have gone Fredrin. However, the Fredrin also would have suffered against that kind of matchup.
Yeah.
So they were stuck with these two as the first two picks, and Onyx ended up with three really great picks.
Yeah, and we did mention that it is likely going to be the Granger here. Unless Team Liquid Philippines switch things up, but they don't, so it's quite telegraphed for now. Yeah. At least in the first phase for Team Liquid. Now they have to minimize the other heroes that can complement Onyx Philippines lineup really well. The Glue's still out there too.
Yeah. The Phobius.
And the Phobius as well, as you mentioned, but they banned the Badang.
Oh, finally we get to see him in the draft.
in the band. The red band side. So Team Liquid Philippines opting to take out the Badang as mentioned by Renmar, no Baksha, so it's a Badangable game. But for Onyx Philippines, they take out one of Sanford's used heroes here in the playoffs, and Teresa out of the picture.
Because even if Onyx decide somehow to give the Phobius,
draft draft
Like the Phobius earlier like in this kind of lineup, might be immediately bursted down and will struggle overall. Especially the amount of hold so far with just the Louis and the Fredrin. But they ban out the Aegis.
What are they thinking about it? I mean, yeah, they
like
to go Edith in the EXP.
Koko
Something like a Phobius? I don't know, if Onyx banned the Phobius, there's a good chance they might actually be considering the Arlott paired up with the Loyi and Fredrin and the Rome. Can be anything, really.
Still even available for
Oh, they ban it out.
Phobius.
The combo that Team Liquid Philippines used just the other day might come out now in Onyx hands.
The Arlott.
Still out there, but like, that's something Sanji's willing to pick in this lineup. So
I mean,
you need to.
should be okay, but I'd want more crowd control instead of burst. You already have the Joy, you have the Granger. Yeah, you want to set up the burst so that the Joy can go in to finish it. So yeah, their mid laner can come later. They pick up the glue here. And Leo whispered into my ear again. He's suggesting that Angela might pop up.
रनमतीको छोराहरु म्याच गर्न एउटा मैले ड्यामेज दिएर लिन्छ यार मैले सब ट्याङ्की हिरो त्यो को थियो है भेट्रिन ग्लु
could still be a viable option for them.
नोबेरे त लाडा गर्नु नोबेरे के गर्नु नोबेरे
That you guys mentioned.
Yeah, Onyx can go fast here. They can go Arlott Cho as their last two picks. The Cho can quickly go through the shrubs, get vision, check areas. Have a good chance to get away also. If ever he just wants to get a check on where the chip is.
सबैजना थाप्ने मात्रै भयो क्या
No, Benedetto, wow. Whoa. Onyx.
Wait a minute.
I mean, Renbar, you said it. Onyx Philippines could go fast.
Yeah.
And what more with the Benedetta and
Kufra,
debut pick in the playoffs, the Kufra?
Louis.
The playoffs it is, but I believe not for the entire season.
Yes, we've had precedence on the Kufra. Blocks the dashes. This is going to be a tough game for Carl TZ's
काइरी छैन के कडा काइरी भनेको इन्डोनेसियाको ओनिकको टिम हो के यो फिलिपिन्सको गेम भइरहेछ यार
If Liquid can pull this off, they played out of their minds.
यो मुजीले त ग्रान्जरै मात्र खेल्दो रहेछ यार
because they won the draft. Glue. It's all on the glue. It's going to be always all on the glue now.
तर अघि मैले किङले त्यति राम्रो खेलेको थिएन लिङ
For game number 3.
त्यो भन्दा अगाडि पनि
And just looking at the draft, do you expect another long game, or is it going to be as fast as possible?
I feel like that's what they're attempting to go for, right? Like extending the game, forcing it to fall entirely on who pulls off the better macro with the amount of global presence that both of these lineups actually have. They have the chip and they have the Louis as well. But it's going to be difficult. Once the team fights break out, Onyx Philippines, their lineup just has so many direct answers to what TLPH can actually do.
म यत्रो म चाहिँ कुन टिम हो भनेर बसेको छ नि यार त्यहाँ लेट्स गो TLPH भनेर लेखिरहेको छु त लेट्स गो TLPH को मतलब के हो बुझ्दैन कडा हो म टिम लिक्विडलाई सपोर्ट गरिरहेको क्या टिम लिक्विडलाई सानफोर्ड किनभने म जस्तै खेल्छ क्या त्यसले लाभ सानफोर्डले त्यही भएर म चाहिँ अलिकति सानफोर्डको सपोर्टमा हो क्या
Onyx season 15 run, they seem to have that roamer game changer every single time.
Yeah. One of the best things that you can do in this draft and why it's been so demanding for roamers and EXP laners is to be flexible and have so many options for you. Oheb and Kelra, wow, right out of the gate, understand this matchup so well. Both bring each other to the limit. Regen's already popped for both.
I like how that is in the gold lane, you know? I like that when you watch some of the best gold laners right now. Oh, hold on, Brusco.
Coming in, forcing a wings by wings from Sanji. Kirk almost caught him.
Yeah, he was there. He got the Purify out too, so... You know, that's one thing about the Kufra. Kufra didn't pop up, what, he pop up maybe 2 or 3 times during the regular season, but typically it's such a niche pick into a composition. And you already, oh, hold on again.
Another jump in, point blank, JP forced to flicker away. Onyx put pedal to the metal already, not even 2 minutes in.
It's a whole lot of value, Renmar.
Yeah, that's going to be a
यिनीहरुको
preview
क्यामेरा
of
क्वालिटी
what
त मेरो
could
भन्दा जो
happen
छ
to
कि
Team
क्या हो
Liquid
यार
Philippines for the next 6 to 8 minutes of this game. As Onyx can just continue to invade, check shrubs, poke down JP, poke down Sanji, and just make farming a living hell for Carl TZ. See, King Kong and Kirk are going to be contesting this, although there are 3 members of Liquid that could assist the Young Goat.
Yeah, they're going to fight for that one. Just a little stare down for some extra XP, and it'll go to King Kong. So now again, a jump.
गेम साउन्ड मैले कम्ती गरेको त यार केडा ठुलै सुनिरहेछ र
Brusco checking range, keeping him down, bouncing ball. Story of Soul's time. The bouncing ball feels like an ult that isn't an ult.
Yeah, just so good. Blocks dashes. And by the way, for those who remember, that used to block Flicker.
Now it doesn't. Brusco.
ल ल ल मैले घटाइदिसकेको छु लभली घटाइदिसकेको छु है
King Kong jumping in first, getting that taunt onto Sanford. Sanford looking for
ओ नि छैन हो केडा हो आज म्याच कन उयोले जित्छ भन्दै छु लौडी तिमीहरु के भन्छौ यार केडा हो
secures with retribution. Down goes the Sigma jump.
लिक्विडले जित्छ क्या केडा हो आज लिक्विडले जित्छ रनमा यहाँ
And the turtle gets taken for TLPH. That was a fight for them.
ओ यसचोटि तिमीलाई झन् मैले त्यत्रो मैले लिक्विडमा हाल पैसा भनेको हो किन भन त
By Carl TZ, that meant Team Liquid could fight just a little bit longer so that they would walk out with the win with the turtle and a kill onto King Kong. That is not how the fight. Onyx didn't expect the fight to go that way. Clearly, it really looked like I thought they were going to win, but the presence of the glue, Sanford again, this broken hero.
लिक्विडले जित्छ क्या केडा हो आज लिक्विडले जित्छ क्या आज
In that last one.
Yeah, he's just been an X factor the entire season, the entire playoffs here.
There is an unexpected amount of damage from Liquid's lineup. Again, you're looking at
कहाँ राखौँ यार थोपडा मुजी मेरो
a lot of Sanford setup. There's a lot of JP setup across the map, but on-demand damage, it's so much easier for Liquid to dish out.
Yeah, and it's on-demand magic damage early on in the game too, which even though
यो मुजीहरुको त थोपडा राख्नु पर्यो नि त यार मैले पनि
Kufra is tanky as well.
यसो हेर्दाखेरि मुजी म पनि खेलेको जस्तो देखियोस् न
Early on in the game makes any tanky presence cry.
That's why that Farsa has been
मैले खेले जस्तो पनि देखिन्छ क्या हो म्याच
even back in the regular season, the
यो मुजीलाई हटाए किङ कङको थोपडा हटाएर मेरो राखिदिनु पर्यो यार
allows you to have a really good damage profile throughout the game because then eventually, then you have the Granger online, and we know how well he's done so far. Overall, diversion, going to go ahead and send him down in the other half.
Sanji read the situation wrong. Feathered airstrike into the wrong brush and gets caught by Onyx.
Onyx knew where the Farsa was, and it was an easy diversion and
ए नामै देखेन नि पखाइ
pushing the top side though, but he needs to back on out of there. JP has read where King Kong is. Liquid though might actually be in a slightly better position for this turtle. Sanji will be able to come back in time. King Kong and Onyx still want to get resources.
मैले खेले जस्तो देखेन मैले खेले जस्तो देखेन अब
Yeah.
Eyes closed.
Eyes closed, trying to flap away. And
मैले खेले जस्तो देखेन अ केडा हो
the mid lane, they're going to hold it down. The turtle is up here. Oh, see how they play this out. Everyone, Carl TC's
मैले खेले जस्तो देखेको देखेन केडा हो हल्का प्रोफेसनल क्या हल्का लाइट पनि अर्कै राख्नु पर्छ जस्तो छ यार ब्याकग्राउन्ड
Kirk spending that petrify. Sanji answering back in
हाच्किनलाई मार हान भागिस भागेर मात्रै बाँचिस रन मात्रै छ र भागेर मात्रै बाँचिस
He was debated by Carl TZ, man.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's just hanging out on that side of the jungle. And then I was going to say, before that actually happened, was JP is just come on in, shortcut.
ए टप राइटमा राख्नु हुन्छ त हैन यहाँनेरि
Oh wow, Kelra's
up
in
there.
Too deep, crossing over through that tier 1. Oh, I'm looking to take him down, but no! Kelra, the Filipino savage. That's why they call him that, is he would pull out the most savage plays. I'm glad we caught at least a tail end of that sequence.
The shield was the difference maker. Of course, a little bit of that impure rage as well on him. Oheb outplayed. He tried as he could, but at the end of the day, there's very little you can do against a hero kit that gives shields when it dashes.
Bro crossed a turret.
He did.
And still won the 1v1.
He cut it in and then made it happen. I'm so glad we had the opening sequence of our grand finals with both of them staring each other down. That's the gold lane. When you put Kelra and Oheb there in a matchup, that's exactly what it seems like. And this is interesting too. You've got the matchup here and it favors the Granger slightly. I mean, they've
तर आज टिम लिक्विडले जित्छ कडा हो टिम लिक्विडले ट्रफी लान्छ क्या तिमीहरु जेसुकै भन तिमीहरु जेसुकै भन टिम लिक्विडले ट्रफी लान्छ आज रनमा
Even before season 15.
That's true.
The past 6 months.
So this is the new Fred Baksha, huh?
Yeah.
with Fred Baksha still in the game.
Like, yeah.
It's a little bit more exciting version of the Fred Baksha. There's actually damage and the duels you can see now. Just two beefy dudes
staring at each other,
slapping each other with wet tissues.
It's good sometimes.
That can be fun sometimes, but like not all the time. Okay.
Only on Tuesdays.
All right. Okay. All right. Team Liquid Philippines. Shame for them. They weren't able to get a tower up top. Onyx sent Kelra very quickly to the bottom lane to equalize the tower and minion pressure there. Liquid now won't be able to push this as JP will get the info that Brusco is nearby.
Team Liquid जित्छ के कडा हो Team Liquid जित्छ
He'll be able to see Super Friends and Kelra. So now Liquid will have to
सान्जीले अहिले हेर न कस्तो हान्छ मायाकुले सान्जी र सेनफोर्डको कम्बो हेर न
breaking at least one tower down first. That's going to be quite risky because they'll be losing the macro battle. Again, it's a low Yi they're up against.
Oh, Sanford spots it, but only for a second because Onyx does the same play, taking out the other half of the Sansan duo. Now Sanji answers back, forced to use the Purify, wings by wings out, cutting through the Liquid lineup. Oh my lord, is Kirk, but he can't save Kelra. Kelra's down. Cause easy running away. Kirk and Bruce go on his tails. Oh, having JP coming through.
Oh, he can't get the taunt. He's not able to get it, and JP will survive, so he burned the
यो मुझे लुई को ड्यामेज अति हुने यार रनमा है
Turtles up here, last one of the game.
All the more worth it. Now the turtle up next. Onyx blitzing it. Not a nary thing Liquid could do here. JP just sees the turtle go over to Onyx.
Great sequence by Onyx. Philippines started off again by the diversion of Super Friends. Team Liquid's map feels
ओ जुटी यस जुटी हेर्दै गर न रनमा हेर्दै गर न अहिले मुझे एकछिन पछाडी पखन भक्कर यो गेम नम्बर 2 त हो नि ए गेम नम्बर 3 त हुँदैछ नि एक एक भएको छ हैन त यहाँ हल्का विनरले अलिकति गल्ती गर क्या
Sanji flying way out of position out of that fight to even deal basic attack damage.
It's interesting how many times that we've seen Onyx go ahead and set that up and in the mid lane and put that pressure that way here. I think Kirk, now that he has a Malefic core, and if he's able to go ahead and land even the Petrify combination, could set things really up for Onyx Philippines in the next big fight, which is now the Lord, now that these turtles are gone. So that's something that TLPH will have to deal with. Sanford, as tanky as the glue is and everything else, we saw how overloaded that damage can be on him, especially with the crowd control included with a Fredrin there and the Kufra.
And also mainly it's because he didn't see that coming.
Yeah, it was like a blink of an eye.
The third time that Onyx did that, where they just diverted randomly into one of the two river brushes.
Yeah, which was the last game. That's how they got OHEB earlier, so they gotta watch out for that.
Yeah, and so far we haven't seen
आमा यतिमा दिरा रन डियोटनको छोराहरु
Maybe this one is it. Oh,
ओए लभली सेकायो त यार अनुमतिको छोराहरुले
and it seems like Liquid did not see that kind of response coming through. Kirk, 1v1 with OHEB. OHEB outplays Kirk. Some semblance of retribution from the cavalry. Here comes the diversion. OHEB smells something.
ए बाबा प्लेअफमा 3-0 हाने पनि केडा हो प्लेअफमा 3-0 हाने पनि रनमा कमब्याक हान्ने चान्स छैन त भन त ल तिमीहरु
No, not my time. No.
फाइनल पो त मुझे फाइनलमा त्यो के रे लीग स्टेजमा खेले जस्तो खेल्छ त फाइनलमा
It's a great counter initiation when the shortcuts drop down, having that Kufra and even King Kong there available. So that's something, like I was saying before that broke out, you gotta watch out for if you're TLPH. How's things looking real quick before this next lore take?
All right,
लु किन प्लेट्स मर्छ भने त भक्क दुईटा आइटम रहेछ
Already on the way to the Holy Crystal for Kelra, for OHEB already up to his core items. I believe it's either a Sea Halberd or a BOD we might be seeing. BOD, most likely, but I want to see him consider the Sea Halberd considering their
ओनीको स्कियर दा हेरौँ न हेरौँ कडा हो हेरौँ न
reduce on the side of Onyx Philippines.
Okay, going back to this JP. Oh, scouting things on out.
Oh, by the way, we've been used to seeing the tanky Benedetta for so long. This is actually a pure damage Benedetta on the hands of
यो ओएबले मुझे कस्तो बबाल खेल्थ्यो त यार बेट्रिक्स यार हैन र यसले बेट्रिक्स खेल्नु पर्ने हो नि त यार यो
Liquid's less than sturdy lineup. Because again, that thing that JP tried to do, again, answer in kind with the shortcut, it's not going to work 8 out of 10 times. And now, Liquid are looking at Onyx burst down this Lord and a quick knock-up, and it's still JP who falls. OHEB does get a double kill. Kirk and Brusco fall. Now it's Sanford holding the ground here.
Carl.
Front line diversion play. Where is Prince going? Prince goes back to mid. King Kong gets taken out. Oheb gets his third kill.
That will. Oh, Carl Tease is going under the turret.
ल मार्थ्यो त यार त्यो फ्रिन्सलाई त यार यसले
Saw his life flash before his very eyes. Liquid, this is not a time to fight. They have to defend against the Lord.
Way too close there. If Carl got that kill, it could have been insane. But Liquid still gets the win in the fight. They lost the Lord, but they'll be able to stop it. As you look back here, Brusco went in first, immobilized by Sanford. JP, I set on the Lord. King Kong got it, he got knocked up, Brusco, but then Carl Teasy's late entry as he was coming from the bottom lane, distracted by Kirk. Kirk eventually joined the fight, but was taken down relatively quickly by Team Liquid.
So ultimately, that Lord really didn't get Onyx Philippines anything, right? I mean, there was a distraction there, might have gotten them a little bit of obviously gold there to work with, but ultimately we look across here on the lanes, it's pretty much even, right? Because we can't factor in the Fredrin versus the Joy in terms of that gold, but overall, it's still kind of at this equilibrium between the two teams. Yeah, there's a minor gold lead for TLPH, but you're seeing how these fights are breaking out and playing.
काइरी छैन ए बाबा काइरी ओनिक त ओनिक हो कि इन्डोनेसियाको ओनिकमा हो क्या काइरी चाहिँ यो फिलिपिन्सको गेम भइरहेछ क्या फिलिपिन्सको ओनिक हो यो
That is their only response.
Somehow, some way, Liquid need to get Super Friends. They need to get a jump on this low Yi, but how do you when you are going up against a hero that's designed to get the jump on everyone else?
ए सुटी तिमीलाई मैले झन् त्यत्रो भनेको तिमी रणमती छोरा अझै त्यही भन्दैछौ हैन त ठिकै छ रणमाया
Super late into the fight just to bring in a
अहिले के भन्छ टिम लिक्युलर जित्छ नि तिमी रुदै बस्नुपर्छ
As we've seen, JP can't even initiate with a shortcut because what? He'll just be putting his team in danger under the Electo final blow. Brusco can just knock him up with a revenge into the rage combo stun if they're up next to a wall. Even the bouncing ball, the ultimate that's not an ultimate, can block them from getting away. It's difficult for a chip, and again, Onyx have drafted this so well that they've shut the key hero of Liquid down.
So I think you gotta shift the focus. Yeah, JP is gonna have to do that, but it might even be up to Carl Teasy and you know, cause enough havoc in the backline on a Joy just because he is so mobile that he might have to put pressure that way to allow JP to be able to utilize a shortcut and not just get caught out against it.
And that might be the best way to use said shortcut, is have JP go the long way around, use a Y-walk portal, flicker into one or the other, you know, Kelra or Super Prince, and then go from there. That's it. But it sounds easier said than done because it is, but that's one of Liquid's options.
Yeah, but it looks like for Liquid, they're just trying to play catch-up in terms of map control. Easy push up top. It was just heralded by Kirk. He has 3 deaths, but he's been opening up the map, has been forcing reactions out of Liquid. Now with the Lord's
कडा सबैजना लाइक गरौँ कडा लाइक गरौँ 65 मात्र लाइक रहेछ 100 लाइक बनाम
King Kong will hold the Lord. This is one of the things we always talk about when the Benedetta was in play so often before, is that pressure you can put on the map. So they'll have to keep Carl TZ dealing with that. They're actually going to go 1v1.
Whoa! Oh, TZ gets it! Kirk gets popped, and that's the go signal. JP gets to conceal. Lord gets soft reset here. King Kong doesn't want his job undone. He spent the past 30 seconds working on it. And because of the man lacking, Onyx are now second guessing.
Yeah. They are playing around the tanky jungler though, so Onyx can afford it if ever Team Liquid decides to rush. Conceal play into the mid, they see Sanji.
Oh, they want Sanji right now, but the mid lane's still going to be held down.
Feathered airstrike coming in, forcing Brusco to get that bouncing ball. They pull that Salmon Force out of Kelra. The shortcut been dropped by JP. Divergent play into that bush. Down below from the south, Carl Teasy pushed out of that pit.
ओए केलरालाई पकड्यो भने मुजी फेरि केलरालाई पकड्यो भने फेरि यो देख्यौ नि मुजी देख्यौ नि हैन देख्यौ नि इनरको पनि दिमाग हेर न आमामा माथिको लेन क्लियर गरेर जोइले हैन तल मुजी त्यहाँ लडमा आउनको लागि रणमती छोरे त्यो मुजी चिपसँग अल्टी छदैछ आइहाल्छु भनेर थाहा थियो के रे माथि क्लियर गर ल्याम्मै आइदियो मुजी तिनीहरु कन्जी चलाएर आएको थियो रणमतीको छ खुलित्तै पार्दै रणमा उल्टै
Holy Crystal and the Starlium Scythe already for this Joy. Already up to a concentrated energy for Kelra. That's something that Liquid needs to watch out for. Oheb full built.
केडा ओएफले रणमतीको छोरा झन् बेट्रिस खेलेको देखेको छैन कस्तो हान्छ मुजी खोइ M4 कुइ M5 कुन चाहिँमा ओबर हान्छ यसले M4 मा होला
It's been a while.
M4 कि M3 मा हो
It's going to take a long while for Liquid to get a win. It was a 3-step, 4-step kind of fight. They cannot shock Onyx in submission. They have to be very methodical about this.
There's a conceal. JP was using. He flickers forward.
Oop, finds it on the Kelra, dropping the rest of the cavalry on it, pays the iron price. Down goes Carl Teasy. You can't do that, not twice in a row, not like this.
Was that just off timing, or like, I mean, they were deep under the second turret.
They crossed 2 turrets, Joseph.
Yeah, that was way too greedy. I thought that'd be okay, but once I saw that second turret was still there, it's like, nope. JP, there's been a reason why you've been so hesitant and
मुझे
disciplined.
पेपर हान त यार रन माथिको छोरो
Because of
के गर्यो मिस्टेक गर्छ यार यस्तो प्लेयरहरु मिस्टेक गर्छ यार केडा हो हेर न
Thumbs up, guys. Let's do this moment. Like, jumps on in.
It's a big oopsie.
Leroy's in
हेर त
the turret, and they just get obliterated. Like,
त्यो केलरालाई पकड्ने हुँदै रे खुलित्त खुल्क्यो यार
Philippines has.
I hate to point it out, in the player cams, when that moment happened, you could almost see Oheb vocally saying, y'all shouldn't have done that.
Yeah. Well, what does that bring us? Back to this. It's even Stevens across the board.
They lost their lead.
They lost the lead. They had what? Almost a 4K lead.
2 freebies. Again, they had no business being down there that deep.
Yeah, Liquid need to recover somehow. That was just emotional damage at the end of the day.
It's the equivalent of slipping on a banana peel.
Yeah, it's like, all right.
प्लान क्लोज पाएर है बाइ बाइ टिम लिक्विड अरे
So, where is it going to come from? It's definitely not going to be coming from a shortcut.
त्यही त जतको पुश गर्यो यार तिनीहरुले यार त्यो जतको गर्नै नहुने पुश गर्छ यार रनमा यार
Lord advantage.
Yeah, they lost gold on that.
They lost gold on that. Like that seeing that negative.
त्यत्रो गोल्ड कति 4000 को गोल्ड लीड गरिरहेको थियो रनमा उल्टै मुझे
Okay, damage dealt, 40,000.
लीड पो खायो यार
There for Kelra, same goes for Carl Teasy and Oheb. So Team Liquid Philippines are winning the damage department done so far. We have seen though, as long as a fight somehow gets split, it's good for Liquid. But when it's a full 5v5 slow front to back, weirdly enough, it's Onyx that actually wins that. So if Liquid can find a way to split the fight, because again, the last fight that was split, it wasn't because of their own doing. It was Onyx who decided to take that movement instead.
Yep, the reverse collapse.
Yeah.
Onyx tried to pull something out of it, but and again, just spread out these sponges that Onyx had and that allowed Liquid to decimate.
अब हेर जोइले मुझे यता क्लियर गर्दै बस्छ है जोइले आनन्दले क्लियर गर्छ अब यहाँ है त्यहाँ मा अब त्यहाँ मुझे यिनीहरुसँग चिप चिप छ सिधै आउँछ गाइ
JP trying to swing around. Meanwhile, Carl Teasy managing the bottom. They're gonna have to fight.
Dropping that short.
अब खोलो देख्यौ त मैले भनेको हैन देख्यौ त त्यहीँनेर हान्दिन्छ भनेर
Sanford follows through. Trade now for Kirk. Down goes Carl. 3 for 1. The current exchange. Liquid reeling from the Lord take.
But their unit is way too solid. The super fam way too strong. It's only Oheb. It's only Sanji. Can they defend this?
ओइ सक्दैन डिफेन्ड गर्न सक्नु पर्ने हो त यार यति त
It's still Sanji and Oheb, and that might be all Onyx Philippines gets off that one.
Another Pyrrhic victory for Liquid. Yes, you get the Lord, but at what cost?
Seems like that's always the question at the end of all these fights. Every fight they're forced into, that slow 5v5, it's expensive for them. They lose more than they gain. But what can they gain with this Lord?
उयो मुझे सेटै हान्न सकेको छैन पकड्ने हिरो पनि त्यति नै नभएर हो क्या
Stop it before it gets to the tower. There will be enhanced minions coming out though for Liquid, so they might be able to start the siege.
Gentlemen, if you'll remember, Kirk is comfortable playing this way. Yeah. He won a major international championship in Indonesia, Mobile Masters, by playing a CC with 8 deaths. So he's fine. Like that's what he's used to doing. He's a scapegoat.
Yeah, I would say you won't like him when he's angry. You know, Kirk, that's what he likes to do, and that's his play style. Sometimes he fits the bill here, and this time they're going to manage the Slord. Onyx Philippines on the defense. We'll see if TLPH decides to go. Conceal's going to be dropped in.
And the shortcut follows through. In comes Carl Teasy. JP is blasted. Kelra drops the summon for Sanji with a fair airstrike. In comes straight from the back line. Down goes JP. Kelra gets a kill.
And they're going. Kirk still looking for Sanford. Carl Teasy trying to get out of there. But Sanford just accepts his fate as he's going to go down by Kirk.
Kirk gets one. And the rest of Onyx clap back. Gets sent via the diversion. Down goes Sanji. It's all went sideways for the cavalry.
On point of the diversion again, but Carl Teasy sees
गल्ती गरिरहेछ यार केटा गल्ती गरिरहेछ यार
he doesn't even decide to clear up the minion waves because his baby cakes needs him.
It's just baby cakes left. They can't defend against 5 members of the super fam.
Oheb's gonna stare him down, and Carl can't get back in time.
Kelra drops his salmon force. Got a chunky wave of minions to come through, and Onyx scores 2-1.
जतको डाइभ हानो यार यिनीहरुले यार यो मुझे हार्ने मन लागेको हो
race though. But Liquid need to go back.
कस्तो मुझे भित्र छिरेको यार यिनीहरू यार
That have them red.
Again, even at a Lord take, again, the question is at what cost? We're going to throw it over to
ए जुट्टी मैले ओनिक पीएच को गेम किन हेरेको छैन यार यो मुझे किङ कङ हरुको यो जी हरुको किन हेरेको छैन हौ हेरेको हो नि यार किन नहेर्नु
Immortality. Mistakes are what matters most, and Onyx capitalize on the over-aggression plays of TLPH to score a win, and now they're up.
टाइप जतको टाइप गरेर हारेको यार रनमा यो त यार
Onyx Philippines beginning draft all the way to execution in that game. You saw how they were just able to
कस्तो लौडीको बालहरु जोतमा टाइप गरे यार त्यहाँ जोतमा यसलाई मार्ने भएर ल यसलाई यो केलरालाई मार्ने भएर सब जना गयो यार सब जना
Oh, down to the first few minutes, even getting a solo kill. Yeah, onto Oheb at the top lane, even down to Oheb's own turret. We saw Kelra as proactive as possible.
यसलाई मार्ने यसलाई टार्गेट गरिरहेको थियो यसलाई मार्ने हुँदा टावर भित्र गएर मरिरहेछ यार
Became a sacrificial player, became the scapegoat. But in the end, it was all part of a major, bigger plan to enable the gold standard to wreak havoc over the cavalry.
It's so hard to move on from that solo kill you just mentioned because they tried doing that from minute one.
Yeah.
Like they were going hard in terms of the micro. They were exchanging blows from the very beginning, from the moment they saw each other in the lane, and when it came to a point where the solo kill was just successful for Kelra, it was just an additional layer of problems Philippines, because if you were to look back at even the first few objectives, they were unable to contest and fight back, and this was the solo kill we were talking about because more often than not, the diversions, they were just too quick to decide on where to go, and it almost felt like Onyx, with the lineup they drafted, it's so weird that they are on a Kufra. This is a roamer who tends to hold the brushes. This is a roamer who tends to want to like go for the surprises and hold the brushes first, but they're the ones who get more information instead. They're the ones who are able to pivot from all the information that they get.
Yeah, the last two shortcuts actually was countered out beautifully by the Kufra and the Luyi. The first one was the 16-minute shortcut onto the bottom lane despite Onyx Philippines still having their second turret. That was a good revenge rage.
हेर न यहाँ यो डाइभ हानेको हेर यो डाइभ हेर हानेको हेर मुझे गु जस्तो डाइभ हानेर यहाँ पनि गु जस्तो डाइभ हानेको हैन टावर भित्र
And this play, like I felt there was a plan because like you know that Benedetta is on damage. So Carl TZ earlier
यहाँ पनि लौडा जस्तो
did not decide to split. He decided to join Onyx Philippines in the fight.
That
And so Carl only
जोतको डाइभ हानेर यार अनमा यार टावर भित्र यार
the Lord, and fortunately he did get it, but that resulted to just a lot more chances for Onyx to take control of the game.
In exchange for bodies of the cavalry, they got the Lord. But again, if you're going to look at the last play, Kirk played a huge role also.
Yeah.
To why Onyx was able to defend because
ए रन्डियोटनको छोराहरु थुक्का म्याच चिकन खातेहरु
the electro final blow, the damage Benedetta, and you can actually see the difference between the diversion and the chip. Nice to mention this a while ago, that diversion doesn't have to be necessarily used aggressively. But if you're a chip, you're forced to be you're forced to cast it aggressively on the offensive end, and it bit TLPH in the back, and Onyx capitalized on those crucial moments to take the lead 2-1 for Onyx Philippines.
Yeah, I mean, JP tried to do so much, but there were chances where he felt a little impatient as well. Like that one instance we saw in the bottom lane, it could have not happened if you were Team Liquid Philippines. You were already taking control of the game, you were already in the lead, and once you have information, you have vision on where Brusco is, on where Kirk is, then that kind of minimizes, it lessens the problems that you'll have because you don't have to worry about where Brusco is coming from. You don't have to worry much about Kirk because you already have an idea in advance. You could position yourself in advance, anticipating all these electro-final blows, all of these skills and everything he could potentially do, especially with the Petrify, but it was a completely different story when Onyx Philippines were the ones making Team Liquid Philippines feel like they're always on their toes because it's the failed attempts from Team Liquid Philippines that could result a much more aggressive response with the diversion from Onyx Philippines.
And all that resulted to Kelra being the BPI rich guy, GPM of 727. Our Rich guys are looking a bit low because of the average game time that they have. It's more than 20 minutes so far. It's bang for the buck for everyone who bought tickets here in the Champions Arena, and of course the sandbag was Sanford.
त्यो
And
JP ले
looking
मुझे
at the goal distribution of Kellera, clearly he was active down to the minute one.
He was. He was too free. Like, if you're Carl, you have to worry about the bouncing ball. You have to worry about the Benedetta, going for your other targets, going for your other teammates rather. You have to worry about the
Randy Orton गच्छर मुझे कोन्डो जस्तो यार.
But Kellera, he had barely any or a single person to worry about.
And now I have to worry about you because you're going to take this by yourself, Brigitte. Go ahead.
Thank you so much. Now we will be dissecting the game a little bit more as we head into the gold graphs and the item progressions which took place in this game. So
पैसा दियो यार अरे लोड यस्तो कुरा नगर न हाल्नु चाहिँ छैन यार मायाकोली.
It looks like it was a very close fought fight. Majority, I know how it felt that Onyx had control for majority of the game, but if you were to look at the goal difference timeline, it was honestly Team Liquid Philippines who actually had more of an advantage up until the 11-minute mark, and even being able to regain that past the 11-minute mark, not until Onyx Philippines just found a game-closing play towards the 17-minute mark. And this is something you could likely attribute to them being on the Joy jungler. The farming speed, the farming patterns, and the rotational speeds overall were just in favor of Team Liquid Philippines, albeit not entirely guaranteeing them being able to convert it into much. You still get to see that they were able to keep hold.
यो लिक्विडले रनमा जोतको फाइट मुझे त्यो लियो का टावर भित्र डाइभ गरेर के.
Entire scenario where
हावा
could barely engage in a fight with the amount of responses, the amount of punish that Onyx Philippines could actually go for against you if you do decide to go for that. So all of the jungle creeps, all of the farm, they were Carl TZ's best friend at that point. He could barely go for the team fights. Later on, we do see him eventually getting some successful pickoffs here and there, and that's mostly onto Kirk. But that too was something part of Onyx Philippines' plan, because Kirk willingly allowed himself to be that guy, to take those kills, to take away the threat of Carl TZ and the electrifying beats, because once that's over, then his team has almost nothing to worry about anymore.
लौडी जस्तो खेलेर यार म्याचकनहरु झाटहरु.
And now if we were to look at the item progression, this felt a little too difficult for Team Liquid Philippines to catch up or to even respond back to Onyx Philippines, and the way they were just too quick in terms of securing their core items and their key items. I feel like one of the biggest indicators too of how ahead Onyx Philippines was in that game was when Elra actually had the option to opt for an Oracle even. He put in an Oracle towards the end of his build just to allow himself to ensure that he can survive a little bit longer, because damage was out of the question. They already had a Benedetta on the damage build. They also had the Luyi, who had a terrifying amount of burst damage, and so Kellera didn't have that much of a huge responsibility on his shoulders. Like, he could have went a little bit more on the defensive, which is why again there is that Oracle present. And if it does come to a point where Carl TZ actually gets to reach him, then he'll have additional sources of sustain, which clearly benefited him greatly, because he wasn't the best target. He was barely taken out there by Team Liquid Philippines.
And now Team Liquid Philippines looking at a one-game deficit from starting out strong, winning game number 1. Onyx Philippines now on a win streak in the series by taking games 2 and 3, but still this is a best of 7 series. Stakes are still high. You know, from these legends, we call them legends, titans, even gods, to now being immortal. Which team will raise the Immortal Cup here in the Champions Arena? And the best part is we're just halfway there, Brigida.
We are. We've been 3 games
and
Onyx are still 2 games away from actually securing the series, and a lot can happen in between.
Yes.
There is a chance that Team Liquid Philippines yet again surprise us with reversing things around, but they have to work on a couple of things. They have to be a little more prepared, and they have to think in advance, because again, the past 2 drafts which we saw in that game, it felt a little too much in favor of Onyx Philippines rather than it being balanced out and boiling down to execution once we head into the game.
Yeah, major adjustments need to be made here for not just Team Liquid Philippines, for Onyx Philippines to stay as creative as possible, keep Team Liquid Philippines at their toes. But again, and here in the Champions Arena, it's full of excitement, full of exciting people. I even see actually a local artists in the building now. But now let's take a look at this VTR in a very short while.
म्याच सुधारो अगेर यार थैट नोडीहरु कुन फोन हो Infinix.
There we finally have it. You just saw a glimpse of what could possibly be the future of a phone with the Infinix GT30 Pro. You know, Jamie, that is going to be pretty intense when our players set to use it.
I even want my hands on that phone. But we have the expert to talk about that today, so why don't we invite them over?
Yeah, for sure, because we have from Infinix Philippines, their marketing manager, Ms. Jelly Buan, and of course, from the Infinix Regional Game Marketing Lead, Harry Leonardo.
Hi,
Jelly, Harry, it's so nice to be here with you today. Kamusta? You know, Harry, I felt like you've been watching MPL Philippines for a while, but I want to know, what makes this grand final so different for you?
For me, this grand finals, it feels very different kasi napaka-competitive talaga ng bawat teams ngayong playoffs. And we see now with the 2-1 score of Onyx and TLPH, hindi talaga natin alam kung sino yung pwedeng manalo. So we're hoping for the best and good luck sa mga teams.
Do you want it to be a best of 7? Do you want it to go game 7?
Yes.
Okay.
What about you, Jelly? How do you feel here in the Champions Arena? What's the feeling being a part of this very intense crowd?
I love the energy. It's very intense. And I think both teams are giving everyone a really good fight and a really good game. So, let's go.
Let's go indeed, Hans and Harry, and of course, Jelly too. You mentioned it's very competitive here. You mentioned let's go. Let's talk about that phone we just witnessed in the video here in the Champions Arena.
Opportunity दिया हुन्छ के साथी टाइम वेस्ट मात्रै हो अरे
the perfect match as the official tournament phone of MPL Philippines. Jelly?
Yes, of course, you know, when we designed the Infinix GT30 Pro, we had ultimate gaming power in mind. So it's really built for serious mobile gamers with its all-day 120 FPS system that's powered by the MediaTek 8350 that ensures ultra smooth, no frame drops, and just pure gameplay. Plus, for the first time, we're adding in the built-in GT Trigger, which offers console-like control so that it's really made for the ultimate device for players.
दुई गेम छ अब ढोल खान्छ बेकारमा अरे हेरौँ न दुई गेम हेरेर जाम न त अब के गर्नु त दुई गेम ल्याम 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 जित्यो भने भइहाल्यो त हैन त जुट्टी दुई गेम जित्ने बित्तिकै जामला नि के छ र
Jelly, when and where?
The Infinix GT30 Pro will be available this coming June. June 1 na ngayon, di ba? So,
ang bilis kasi sobrang intense dito sa Champions Arena. We don't even know what the date is, but yes, it is the 1st of June. When can they get it in June, Jelly, and where?
very soon.
Okay.
Where in your favorite e-commerce channels and of course in Infinix stores nationwide.
I like it.
Love it.
Jimmy, I like that it's going to be available very soon.
तिमीले जस्तो फर्स्ट गेम के गर्दो रहेछ भनेर हारेको हो जानी जानी हारे.
Some of the people na hindi na naghintay are our players, right? Because they were able to at least test out the device. So Harry, walk us through it. How was the process like for MPL players while they were testing out the Infinix GT30 Pro?
Actually, we're very grateful for Munton Games and MPL PH because of the smooth cooperation all throughout the testing process. And this not just happened here in the Philippines, but also across the MLBB Pro tournaments that we sponsor across Southeast Asia. So yes, it's also an MPL Indonesia, MPL Malaysia, MPL Cambodia, and also in MSL Myanmar. And with that, the GT30 Pro underwent meticulous four-phase testing process. So first, it encountered intense stress tests from Munton headquarters, And then we also did here locally on-site testing, game simulations, and as you mentioned, even up to the pro player level. The players actually tested it themselves in order to meet the highest standards of MPLPH official tournament device recognition.
यहाँ पनि झाँटै भयो यहाँ पनि झाँटै भयो
Hard work of the teamwork and the shared commitment of Infinix, MLBB, MPL towards esports excellence.
Yeah, I love that. 4-phase testing process, and it really feels like it's custom made for MPL Philippines, MPL Cambodia, MPL everywhere.
MPL everywhere, for sure. I think that is, pretty interesting that you got the approval of the pro players because they're very specific with their phones, right? So with that being said, they are playing as of the moment. Give us a teaser on what you'll give them, actually, Ari.
Yeah, so actually we're excited to know also who will be the champion tonight because the MPLPH Season 15 champions for the first time ever will take home the exclusive Infinix GT Champion set. Ano ba yung laman nun? Of course, we have our GT Champion jacket. We have our GT AI ring. We also have our GT30 Pro phone inside a customized champion box. And of course, magkakaroon din ng GT trophy for their MGT or
यो ग्लोबलमा नै सबै यही ल्याङ्ग्वेज हुन्छ र इङ्ग्लिस हुन खोइ यो फिलिपिन्सको मात्रै भएर होला क्या जुट्टी यो फिलिपिन्सको हो नि त एमपिएल फिलिपिन्स हो नि त यो एमपिएल फिलिपिन्स भए पनि इङ्ग्लिसमा भए पनि फिलिपिन्सको हो नि त त्यही भएर फिलिपिन्स त बोलिहाल्छ
नि
Thank you so much, Hans and Jamie, and our good friends over at Infinix. And I have to say, I'm going to be upfront and unhinged as possible. I want that phone. That champion set. I want it.
I want the champion set too. I wish we got a chance to get that.
But of course, guys, we have BPI that empowers Pinoy gamers with next-level banking solutions to help you level up in life. Digital deposit accounts, insurance investments, loans, and many more.
Yep, you can start saving now so you get a more epic tomorrow. So you can open up a hashtag save up account today via the BPI app. One ID and 5 minutes is all you need and you get an account already. So go for a more epic tomorrow together with BPI.
Yeah, we have a lot in store once again. Current score, 2-1. Onyx Philippines is leading, so us Onyx guys are happy compared to the Liquid Girly. But of course, guys, we have an epic news for you because the Vive app is also available. You can finally pay via QR for faster payment on your monthly bills.
Yep, you can claim rewards, everything, and also you get an epic bonus once you sign up because you get a chance to win 1,250.
Lordy, lordy, lordy. जित्दैन हो जित्दैन अरे केटा हो गेम सकेको छैन त यार अझै छ त यार गेम
for an epic tomorrow with BPI.
Yep, there are a lot of in-game items you could still purchase once you get to recharge, so I feel like you should take this chance.
Yeah, but be financially responsible, guys, because, I spent a lot with the Naruto collabs. I got 3, and I don't know how much money I have left in my BPI app, but still, okay, this time, Onyx Philippines, instead of going or choosing the red side, they are finally in the blue side, so we can see...
खोइ त यार ट्राफिक मुझे 2 मिनेटमा भन्दै थियो यार कत्रो बेर लागेको यार ड्राफ्टमै टाइम लाग्छ यार
Of course, who doesn't want a 3-1 lead over the cavalry?
And this has been their side previously as well, so we just saw how they were able to last minute bring out the Kufra, last minute bring out the Benedetta. So these are things that you can still expect from Onyx Philippines as they still take hold of the blue side. But for Team Liquid Philippines, again, we're looking for those adjustments. We're looking for that presence of mind to be a lot more mindful of the possibilities heading into this, because if not, it's an automatic match point for Onyx Philippines.
Exactly. Every time this countdown timer starts, I feel the whole ground shaking. So might as well call just Renmar for help.
All right.
That was a shorter one.
Did not expect that. You kind of threw me off guard there.
That's what TLPH needs to do.
Yeah, I agree with you. Smooth segue, I'll give you that. Okay. Lucas, Fanny Kalea, I think still similar to the previous game spans that we saw.
Yep, it is.
I think the changes of Team Liquid Philippines, if ever we're going to end this with the exact same bans, I think they need to ban out the... Oh, Onyx banned the chip?
What?
Yeah. They're still respecting it, even though they outdrafted it. Oh, it's like they're forcing Team Liquid Philippines to play different, while Liquid makes the same smart choice Onyx made with priority banning the Matilda. They are not giving the low Yi anymore to Super Friends.
But that opens the Baksha for this game. So Onyx Philippines can't consider that. If they
Hey, mother truth.
Onyx Philippines on the blue side, they went for the Harem first bit. So they can explore that route again. It went perfectly with the gold standard, racked up MVP in game number 3. So let's see if that's still the route Onyx is willing to take. But King Kong wants to enjoy. He wants his joy.
King Kong le joy liyo.
Want to pick up the... It's either the Harith or Granger. And you know what? Yeah, just pick up the Harith, you pick up the Jusin, and then later you pick up the Fredrin, then you just revolve your draft around that. You could also potentially go for the Badang if you want to, but I'm really leaning towards just getting the Jusin.
Yeah, I feel like it's
Harith.
a Harith Jushin. Because it's also been in the EXP where it's been flexing things a little bit.
Wasn't that Falcons?
Yeah, it was flap TC, but I think the surprise, the X factor of the draft from TLPH can come from Sanford.
जोए दामी हुन्छ यार अरे जोए दामी भइहाल्छ नि लुई ब्यान्डहरु लुईमा आएकोले ल्याङ गरे लुई त्यो ह्यारित पनि ब्यान गर्नुपर्छ यिनहरुले त्यो चाहिँ क्रिक त के गरिरहेको छ त रनमा
Show 3 cores. Now most likely Granger. If they don't pick up the Juicing, it'll be surprising, but maybe this is Team Liquid's approach. They are forcing Onyx to pick up their main magic damage dealers already, so this will be a very magic heavy lineup. So they go for the big swerve. They don't even pick up the Granger here. They pick up the Badang and the Farsa instead.
Who can forget the last time TLPH went up against the Badang? It was in the hands of Master Ogwin.
Oi.
Stole away.
Now
we get to see Carl TZ on the Hayabusa.
Now, at least they...
के हुन्छ जस्तो छ है कडा के हुन्छ जस्तो छ है
The one was still out there too, but considering that they already have the Hayabusa, that might not be such a go-to option now for Onyx Philippines. As well as the Farsa.
Okay, Liquid needs a bit more range unless they decide to double down on the idea that they don't need to play around that. Okay, they want to keep their backline safe. They take away the great ban. With the Phobius gone, Glue could come in for Liquid as their 4th pick.
Again.
Yeah, it's going to be Sanford just on the Glue. I think Glue's probably going to show up in every game now. One way or another.
50% draft participation this time around. Won't be forgetting about the Glue now, but TLPH final ban. Will they ban out even the Glue?
यसले बाक्सिया EXP खेल्न आड्यो क्या यार
That Badang's still a flex here.
They would want to go for the utility EXP laners, considering that they're both playing the assassins. Yep. Good man.
You know, Rockhart actually mentioned this a couple of days ago, or not yesterday, that surprisingly, the Selena hasn't been popping up in the playoffs so that much. I mean, Super Prince has been using it alongside Few, but
फेरि ग्लु खेले यार
for TLPH.
I think carry would be okay here for Kelra, either the carry or the Beatrix. The Airthil is going to be a bit lacking, considering that the Glue and the Basha can rush blade armors.
The magic damage is already there, so it's probably not going to be the Kimmy as well. It's probably either going to be really the carry or the Moskov.
Oh, yeah, of course, you're right. Moskov would be a great safe pick also, with the front-to-back nature of Liquid. Oh no, it is Beatrix. Cool.
Oh, Kufra Beatrix.
2 consecutive Kufra games for Brusco.
यो ओएबले मुझे बेट्रिक्स खेल्छ कि भनेको यार एकचोटि खेलेन यार बेट्रिक्स यार रनमायाले
The entries for Hayabusa even more difficult.
Was it gonna be Sanji?
This is so tricky. There's a. I mean, there's the immune from the RWM, but.
The Eve might be okay.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be the best considering he's up against the Joy, the Kufra, but the Eve should be a good balancer. They can even go Valentina, but
Oh, bro! I just called it.
against the Kufra though, that's a ballsy move by Sanji.
Oh, Red 5 never fails to surprise us. Rockhard was asking this question yesterday, where Selena's nowhere to be found, where is Selena? And now it's in the hands of Sanji in a crucial game number 4.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you guys think about the Selena swerve?
It's a bit tricky, but hopefully Team Liquid Philippines are just really gonna play this aggressively all throughout, gonna bank on their ability to just constantly interrupt the plans of Onyx Philippines later on, and also the vision. The vision is definitely gonna be there for them, and they can capitalize on that if it's just that. So
केलरा किङ अफ बेट्रिक्स अरे उयले राम्रा ओएबले पनि बबा M3 कि M4 मा ओभर चलाएको थियो यार ओएबले कडा हो
if they want to even out
बेट्रिक्स
Crucial game for Team Liquid Philippines, so that's why Casters take it away.
And take it away, we shall. We're going to load up into the Land of Dawn. It's game 4 upon us with some great drafting here.
Some old throwbacks and some returning heroes. I'm more excited to see Kufra go back-to-back with that Brusco.
Yeah, and considering that he's up against like the Harith, he's up against the Selena, even the Hayabusa, again, as we mentioned earlier, has the time the entry's better. Bouncing ball is going to be a big ticket skill here.
Yeah, not only that, but at least for this one, JP has revitalized. I feel like a lot of the team fights we've seen break out in the past few games, it's just you're duking it out. But Revitalize always changes some of those team fights, especially when the other team doesn't have it, right? So Onyx Philippines isn't going to have those in those team fights, whereas TLPH can play around some of that sustainability. But at the same time, I love the fact that they brought it up in the draft. Yeah, the Selena has been not really slept on. I feel like there's just a couple players who like to play it, but this time around, like, has Sanji played it much?
Nope, first time this season he's going to be playing the Selena.
And I forget myself, even the return of Badang in the series alone.
Oh, Remar mentioned it earlier. He's like, it's kind of weird that we haven't seen them.
ओ M3 मा त्यहीबाट नाम फिलिपिनो स्नाइपर पारेको अरे त्यो त M3 कि M4 मा M3 कि M4 मा हो क्या त्यसले ओभर चलाएको क्या त्यसले ओएबले
Opening draft is why the Kufra showed up so soon, is you gotta time it well, and they timed it well.
Yep, very sharp timing. Oh, and JB even found Super Prince. All right,
Cabra,
he's mad.
Oh, they want to watch this in the gold lane. Yeah, we're not getting away from that. But
I don't know. Is JP angrier at Onyx or himself? So far, it's a great start, man.
Hey, that's what you got to do here. After what we saw in the previous one.
Either way.
Yeah, it's fine. And Turtle's up for the taking. Look at the lead. This is the fastest or the biggest lead, I think, throughout the series so far.
Sandberg with the forward flicker, looking for that grab early on. Onyx better for it, not even thinking to take that turtle, conceding it over to Liquid.
Yeah, King can't farm as fast as Carl Teasy. Dude, it's a 2-level gap.
Yeah.
टिम लिक्विडले पेल्यो अरे पेल्नै पर्छ फाइनल जस्तो हुनु पर्छ नि त यार ओनिकले रन मात्तिको छ र अनि ल्याम 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 त्यस्तो भने मजा आउँदैन नि
Starting the pace here for Liquid.
Say what you will about Carl Teasy's questionable plays from time to time, but he is still #1 in EXP per minute in all of regular season 15. So this man knows how to get EXP across the map.
He definitely farms like a goat.
Yes.
I was waiting for the sound effect, but
told you.
That's the thing, man.
Can't
like,
escape it.
Yeah, and if you can't escape the fact that he's gonna get that lead, he's gonna get that momentum based off delaying King Kong, but. You know, so it puts King Kong in a position where he just has to catch up, and I feel like he's doing that. Obviously, he's trying to close the gap. They might not take some of the next fights even, And that's why TLPH trying to make a play here.
Oh my god, projectiles on projectiles. Oh, hey, dropping the Zeppelin Force. Another arrow thrown out. Killer barely surviving. Dashing back. Here comes Super Prince. Point blank. A feathered airstrike. JP caught in the crossfire. Down goes Oheb. The Filipino Savage joins the fight. Nay, rejoins the fight. Flickers forward and gets Oheb.
Can't blame Team Liquid Philippines for making that call. The targets look good, but Sanji lands arrow.
ओहो म जस्तै चलाउँछ त यार यो रणमतीको छोरले त यार हाइबुसा यार
I feel like that happened earlier when we didn't get to see it in the mid lane. Like, same thing. He probably stayed a little bit too long and then gets caught. I'm not sure if it was by the arrow.
ओभर हान त है त्यो हाइबुसाले
Again, the Selena seems to be playing a big part already in the early game.
Yeah, they got to balance it out, and all of these stops mean that Carl Teasy just keep getting farm and keeps expanding the lead between him and King Kong, who is up top trying to get farm, and there's a lot of focus down bot.
Magic arrow catching Kirk. Kellera firing back underneath the Zaman Force. Luckily for the Super Fam, that turret stands. Turtle spawns lower quarter.
Okay, Turtle's up.
ओभर सेक्दैछ यार अहिले यो गेम चाहिँ अलि जित्छ कि
Even with Sanji, the first time he's bringing it out.
सेलिनाले भिजन पनि टक 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 दिइहाल्छ हैन
So right now they'll just kind of face it off. Oh, King Kong
gets caught by a shadow kill. 1v1 with the young goat.
Carl Teasy finds
ल मुझे अस्ति जोइले देखाउँदै थियो हैन
Yeah, this is the lead builds even
यो
more.
किङ कङले काइरीलाई मार्दाखेरि पुरै 3-4 जनालाई मुझे यता अल्टिडच हानेको थियो नि
Kill up top. So even furthering the lead that he already has against Onyx Philippines' jungler King Kong. This is not looking good for Onyx Philippines right now.
Everything has gone right for Liquid. I was skeptical of this Selena pick. But again, just smart rotation, good timing between JP and Sanji. Carl going wild.
Coming in, throwing that shadow, forcing a response from Super Prince. Feathered airstrike, JP very low. Third Poisson's out. Sanford catches a bead. No losses inside.
अब त लभली सेक्दैछ यार
With Kirk trying to get that turret down. He should be able to get this as he clears it out. But yeah, that's the thing. You're seeing when those fights happen. It's just Onyx Philippines lacking the damage, right?
3-4 किल दिन्छ जसलाई नि पहिला हरे भरा
Gold, and that's going to be the case. We'll see this. Look at this. He might get caught. Kirk might get caught here.
Yeah. Kirk actually has slightly more gold. Oh no. Uh-oh.
JP delaying the jump.
तर यो काल्टीजी पनि खतरा हो नि यार काल्टी जस्तो कहाँ छ त मुझे जंगलर बाबा लेन्सलट त्यस्तै आछ त्यसले
The conceal by Liquid disengages.
And as we saw right there at the end,
Oi.
back up. Oh, it landed!
Massive arrow! Keeping Super
ओइ म्याच गन यार कस्तो लभली हाने यार त्यसले
entire season of not showing Selena. This could be the hidden weapon of Liquid. Well, Keller and Oheb continue their duel down bottom. Keller has switched to the Wesker.
Oh, don't tell me. He's going to go for it.
The shotgun! Oheb face the flicker! Kellera does it again! In comes Sanji, looking for the punish. JP jumps onto Kellera, finds him, takes him down, and they're not done. Kirk does get the spread onto him.
ए म्याच चिकनलाई भुइँमा माथि चढेर बोकेर कस्तो सेकाए कस्तो हाने त्यसले यार मलाई पनि यस्तै पेट्रिक्स खेल्न मन लाग्छ मुझे सक्दै सक्दिन यार त्यसले कति छिटो चेन्ज गरेर हानेको
Another one, JP jumps in, calls it the shadow kill on a Brusco, popping that ball.
काल्टी सारो कोइरा द ब्रुस्को ओइ
Prince with the assist, down goes Sanji. Sanford, JP, going for more. Can't find it, turtle spawns.
It's getting really scrappy. Teams forcing out trades and skirmishes across the map. The right play to make. And still
कडा उयो पनि बवाल खेल्छ यो काल्टी पनि अब्बर हो क्या लेन्सलट मैले यसले खेलेको थिएँ त्यो अब्बरै खेल्छ हौ पहिला चाहिँ त्यो M3 कि कति कुनमा M2 कतितिर त अब्बरै खेल्छ लेन्सलट यसले
And it's going to look like even that first Lord, unless something
केलरा किङको होप्छ अझै अरे
right now to catch back up is going to be in a
कम अन सानफोर्ड सान्जीले हान्नै पर्ने हुन्छ सान्जी र सानफोर्ड भएर
Hunter strike straight into the BOD. No wonder this Hayabusa hurts like crazy. Conceal in the mid. Is Liquid going to find someone? They will not force the issue. They're also playing around the arrows. Look at where Sanji's positioning. He wants to toss his arrows into potential flank areas.
Oh,
let's get spotted out.
Brusco bouncing ball out of here. Sanford pushing through, bombs away. Kellera cover fire for the rest of Onyx. In comes a bouncing ball, the full combo from Kirk. Sanford's very very low. Flickering back. In comes King Kong. Dashing through. Way too many bodies from Liquid here. Salmon Force dropped in. And another arrow.
किन अल्टी नहानेको त्यसले अल्टी हानेको फिक्स मर्छ यार
Skittish from that last game. Again. And they find
ओइ सान्जीले सेलिना त ओभर चलाउँदो रहेछ त यार
Arrow after arrow from Sanji. Is this the secret weapon? Is he the bow and arrow for TLPH?
The Monster Mage showed off his skills with his Selena, but the chef is cooking.
JP and OM find King! King Slayers these two are, and Sanji keeps Kirk at bay.
गाह्रो छ यो पाली यो गेम कडा हो यो गेम ओनिकला लास्टै गाह्रो छ कडा हो लास्टै गाह्रो छ यार 7k को गोल लिड हानिसक्यो हैन ओ लास्टै गाह्रो हुन्छ नि यार यिनीहरुलाई
Under the 10-minute mark.
Liquid can continue this onslaught. They still have to be careful with their execution for the next couple of sequences, considering that they are up against the Badang. The damage output of the Joy will be enough to put a dent in the armor of Liquid, maybe even punish them if they are not careful. Just no other slip up, similar to what happened in the previous game. Continue the discipline that they're showing, the timing of JP, Sanji, Sanford together. You can see them talking and timing their entries. Keep that up.
Another shadow kill by Carl Teasy, putting multiple members of Onyx at low health.
And look at that, Sanji was ready to toss the arrow right away. Brusco had to block it, good sense, but Liquid will get this Lord with no problem whatsoever.
Just another objective under TLPH. And with a lead like this, now 8,000 gold, they should be able to march towards the base of Onyx Philippines. And you've got King Kong scrapping for whatever he can, and these arrows will continue to scout things out for TLPH. Look at the disparity between the islands here, even at this point.
Struggle here for Kelra, only up to a Malefic gun, of course.
The ब्रुसको आइटम भर्खर त्यो मैले दुईटा आइटम हुँदैछ अनि मारा निहाल्छ नि यार
Holder will earn a gold every 5 seconds.
And the XP.
And the XP, yes.
Catch up Brusco again. Every little bit of kit you can get when you're behind helps. So leveling up Brusco's skills could help you claw back from this 8,000 gold deficit.
That's so tough to be in here. Beats are going to be popped. Oh.
Shadow kill coming through. And a defensive use.
चारजनालाई अल्टी हान्दैछ यार रनमा यहाँ
If there was a voice pack you could add there, it's Carl Teasy simply going boo, boo.
गर्दैछ त कोले गर्दैछ यार
Turrets lose some shields here too. They might force this in a little bit further. An arrow.
In comes 40. Dropping the Salmon Force. Oheb can smell blood in the water. Kirk goes down. Underneath the Salmon Force, they're still going. Brusco goes down. Sanji gets a double. The Super Fam are in shambles. The Lord's still standing. Oheb gets taken down. Liquid might not want to force the issue.
And Liquid, another arrow land just to add insult to injury. Sanji on point.
म मनी गन्दिन्छु लिक्विड जित्यो भने साथीहरु यो गेम हेर्दै गर
Push this one in. Mid turret gonna fall down. Waves pushing in on the bot. Even with a lead this big, TLPH will take the discipline route and back off for now after getting the 2 base turrets.
I have to say, this is a must-win for Team Liquid Philippines. If they still somehow lose this and they slip up, Onyx going to match point 3-1 after a massive turnaround. Consider the Immortal Cup already in the hands of the gods of the game.
Kong?
King Kong looking for Sanji, finds him. I think Sanji just understood that he was out of breath, like he was not supposed to be there.
Yeah. Except it is fate, that's one slip up. They can't afford any more. That's shut down, although not massive. Let's see if Liquid can minimize their
उचिया मादर छैन रे मादर त लड छ त लड
advantage, the damage advantage, the map as well.
Basically every advantage at this point. Lord's gonna be up in 30. They might get a turret down here. They're gonna go ahead and charge things up. Conceal's gonna be used.
JP looking to engage. Carl Teasy throws out the shadow. Salmon Force from Oheb. Super Prince already spent. Defender strike. No ult available for the Super Fam.
What a reaction by Kirk. He was so ready to bump into Carl Teasy there. To fist bump him. Almost started a chain reaction that could have meant Carl Teasy got taken down, but it didn't lead to that. Liquid, though, because of the 2 towers, they've broken in base. Now have the Lord. Looks like they're gonna blitz it. but Onyx might just be crazy enough to contest.
Hints of hesitation from the Super Fam as Liquid bursts down this Lord Carl Keezy in the back line, holding the
यसचोटि हाल्दै गर्दा हुन्छ यार साच्चि भनेको यो गेम त जित्छ हो लिक्विडले
If Onyx Philippines
लिक्विडले 100% छ यही लडमा सकाइदियो ल ल यही लडमा सकाइदियो
where they need to be for them just yet. So they're gonna
यो लडमा यो ल ओनिकले हार्यो यो गेम लिक्विडले जित्यो ल
turn it around. This is going to be a massive win for TLPH if they can get it on this push here.
On the other hand, Team Liquid Philippines have played this game so well that Liquid losing this seems like such a massive impossibility at this point.
Save for the actually winning moment. This is the largest gold lead we've seen all series long.
Yeah.
So Liquid holding on to this is massive.
The Lord's up. Conceal's going to be used. They're going to punch this one into the base. Kelra trying to get some space. They got to deal with this Lord and manage it here.
JP jumps on to Brusco, bombs away from Kelra. King Kong dashing through the Salmon Force. The answer from Oheb. Lord still standing. Down goes Brusco. The base up next on the docket. Down bottom, King Kong going 1v1 with Sanji. The base.
यही लडमा सक्यो भनेको हैन त यही लडमा सक्यो भनेको हैन त यो लडमा सक्यो भनेको हैन त रनमतीको छोरो ह यही लडमा सक्यो भनेको के न मैले रनमा लर्ड डेफ हुन्छ यताबाट हुन्छ यताबाट हुन्छ लर्ड डेफ
The arrows were on point. Sanji bringing out the secret weapon. Let's go ahead and throw it over to the panel to break it down.
And again we are down.
हैन गेम जित्नु पर्छ सबै एउटा म ए अहिले आएर चाहिँ म के कुरा गरेको यार जुट्टी म मनी गन दिन्छु लिक्विडले जित्यो भने साथी भनेको हैन अहिले कहिले कुरा चेन्ज गर्छ त यार यसचोटि त यार टिम लिक्विडले जित्यो भने मनी गन यही गेम भनेको हैन तिमीले यही गेम भनेर फेरि के भनेको यार
Yep, and imagine this guy.
Yes, open the chat. Yes, open the chat.
After bringing out the Selena and.
त्यही भनेको त्यो एस हेर त त्यहाँनेरि भाइ अघिसम्म रनमा यो गेम जित्यो भने यो गेम टिम लिक्विडले जित्यो भने उयो गर्ने भन्दै थियो हैन त अहिले त रनमा चाहिँ फुल गेम पो भन्दै रहेछ यार अहिले कहिले कुरा चेन्ज गर्दै रहेछ आम्मामा यार त्यस्तो चेन्ज गर्न चाहिँ पाइएन है कुरा अझै 2 गेम जित्नु पर्छ केटा अझै 2 गेम जित्नु पर्छ क्या बाटो अरे त्यही भनेको क्या बाटो क्या आज बुनु उयो हो के फाइनल एमपीएल सान्जीले बबाल खेल्यो यार कसम सेलिना चाहिँ बबाल खेल्यो यार फेरि जित्यो भने ग्यालेक्सी हाल्छु अरे ल ग्यालेक्सी रेडी गर्दै गर ल ग्यालेक्सी रेडी गर्दै गर फिलिप यो के अरे म लिक्विडको सपोर्टमा हो क्या आज लिक्विडको सपोर्टमा हो लिक्विडले जित्छ क्या आज केटा हो
There's no way you can survive that. Not when you're on a flicker. Not when you have barely any resources to actually sustain such amount of burst damage. And even during these last few sequences of the game, you see he had to willingly use the flicker mid-feathered airstrike just to make sure that the abyssal arrows will not land onto him, just to make sure that he can maximize the amount of wave clear that he has, because they were that desperate. They had to do this much in order for them to hold on to their
किङ कङको गाड सेकाई
they did not let up.
लिम्बे सिम्बे किम्बे अरे के हो यार जियो जिटी भन न यार
Because yes, you did mention it. We saw the Wesker after quite some time, and those are options you can pick up, especially when you know that you are in the lead, when you can move a little more freely around the map. But when you're left to defend, it has to be the Nibiru, it has to be the Bennett, and Kellera had to use a shuffle between those two options just to get the game past a little longer, get past the 15-minute mark, and that didn't happen. again, Team Liquid Philippines just forced their way through.
हो ओनिकको गेम सजिलो थियो नि हाइबुसालाई रनमै हाइबुसा कति पुगेको थियो थाहा छ अर्लीमै कस्तो फ्याड भएको थियो हाइबुसा मार्दैन हाइबुसा फ्याड भएपछि यो के भन्छ ब्रुस्को यो के कुफ्राको रनमा यो आइटम यो एउटा यो रेडेन के रे उयसको एन्डिक्युरेसको यो मुझे त्यो छैन भेस्ट र त्यो यो नबन्दैखेरि रनमा त्यो त्योसँग माल भइसकेको थियो ट्याङ्कलाई नै सेकिरहेको थियो अनि
I'm not doubting it because we saw the game heroics of Sanji yesterday with the Farsa, the fast buy.
आमा यो उनिकको हेर न फोटो यस्तो अरे एउटाले यस्तो अरे एउटाको यस्तो अरे एउटाको यस्तो अरे के हो यो केलराले त झन् रुदै गरेको हालेको छ त
We also got it. And actually for just the second joy game we've had from King Kong.
त्यही त दिन्छ के उनिकले गेम लामो बनाउन मजा आउँदैन भनेर हो के साथी अरे
Barely could do what we usually would think King Kong would be able to do when he's on the joy. The fast jungling wasn't that much
The
evident.
turbo
jungling.
jungling pattern of the real Sigma King Kong. That was so long.
That was so long, but that was something we did not see at all because the PPI rich guy of this game is actually Carl TZ on that Hayabusa.
काल्डीजीले बबल खेल्यो यो गेम काल्डीजी सेलिनाले बबल खेल्यो है
But that's a 911 GPM. We barely see that in this game.
उनिकले अब म यो देखाउँछ अरे खुलित्तै
A bit longer than usual.
अब ल्याम दुई गेम लिक्विडले जित्छ लिक्विडले ट्रफी घर लान्छ है त केडा हो
Game from Carl TC after losing 2 Hayabusa games up against Onyx Philippines in upper bracket finals. But Brigida, please explain what the hell happened in game number 4?
Oh my goodness, a lot actually happened. A lot of arrows, a lot of charges.
हाया ओपी थियो हाया बुसा ओपी हालेको हो क्या त्यसले
Starting in from the gold difference timeline once again, which if you would look at closely, barely went or absolutely did not go in favor of Onyx Philippines. They had to take their time so much, and especially considering that Team Liquid Philippines, they were just able to secure the first turtle without all of their level 4s. They didn't go for the standard rotations, which made sure that they were on their level 4s before they actually took the objective because they were preparing for a team fight whatsoever. They did not. They actually just went full aggression, threatened the members of Onyx Philippines, zoned them out so well that they were able to burst down the
कति दिनको हुन्छ अरे कति दिनको हैन नि यो आज एक दिनको बेस्ट अफ 7
JP and Sanji. JP, he kept on pressuring Kelra in lane. He kept on pressuring the other members of Onyx Philippines so much to a point that they actually had to respect this Baksha. And it's not like we've seen instances wherein the Baksha had such an easy time before. There were a lot of times where in teams, they just built lineups that could directly punish the Baksha. You commit a mistake, you do not get to land on your key targets, then you can already say that you might fall in the hands of your opponents. But that was something we did not entirely see happen to JP because he was just that much on point and accurate in terms of whoever he wanted to target on the Baksha. He applied so much pressure and just that
जिस्किन्छ अनिक त्यही हो अरे खुलित्तै जिस्केको हैन हो हारेकै हो त्यो गेम त यार मान न जुटी मान हारेकै हो क्या त्यो गेम हानेकै हो हाइबुसा अरे त्यो टिम लिक्विडले हानेकै हो के
an additional layer of burst damage over and over again coming in from Team Liquid Philippines. Now, speaking of the pressure that JP did apply throughout the members or towards the members of Onyx Philippines, there were direct responses necessary.
अब दुई गेम टिम लिक्विडले अनि सक्यो अरे त्यही त
So far, Kelra, he actually decided to first opt for the Sea Halberd before anything else. This was the item that he went for first because again, JP was just so consistent. He had to constantly hunt him down, and he did secure this in less than the 5-minute mark. So they somehow had ways to answer back, but not even this was enough because towards the 7-minute mark, you could already see the 5k gold lead that was existing between.
हाइबुसाको हेर न 8 मिनेटमा रनमा दुईटा आइटम बनाएर तीनटा आइटम बनाइसकेको रहेछ 10 मिनेटमा रन मतिको छ हाइबुसाले अनि मार्दैन हाइबुसाले तीनटा आइटम बनायो भने तिमी आज भर्खर हेरिरहेछौ यो थाहा छैन के साथी यसुटी के तिमी मलाई के सम्झिन्छौ यार तिमीले म हेर्दिन जस्तो लाग्छ तिमीलाई यस्तो यो कम्पिटिटिभहरु गेमहरु थै हाम्रो त्यो उयो जुटी कहाँ गएछ यार रनमा टेक्सस टोम कहाँ गएछ यार
again and again to play.
मलाई आज गोल पास दिन्छु भन्दै थियो यसमा COC-मा.
Really have to give it to the mid duo for setting things up, for making sure that the tempo would be heavily in their favor. Now we look at the draft recap for Team Liquid Philippines and Onyx.
लिम्बे मुला बुझ्या चाहिँ केही छैन होला अरे म्याच. बुझे भाइ त नजन्मिँदाखेरि म खेल्थे क्या बल लेजेन्ड मुजी.
Drafts that they had in the first few games, they're actually favoring the red side. So this is probably one of the examples in which we see Team Liquid Philippines playing to their strengths. 36.6 total crowd control time for Sanji in this game, which is actually considered as the shortest game we've seen throughout the series. And it has been a very reliable Selena for Team Liquid Philippines to just constantly go in and not be as afraid of Onyx Philippines and their potential to counter or punish, because it felt like Brusco had no choice. Brusco and Kirk, it's their responsibility to keep their members, to keep their teammates safe. And whenever they actually did get to catch the arrows, then it was difficult playing as a team who was playing from behind, because it means that there is a high chance they actually get to poke you down, blow it up, or even burst you down.
You know, I still can't grasp the fact that the total CC time of Sanji with the 36 seconds, if you'd combine the Badang and the Kufra,
सय नै हो अरे.
still ahead by a lot of seconds. That was just
थाहा हुन्छ त अब धेरै बेर छैन त थाहा हुन्छ त.
Sanji performed in game number 4.
The amount of crowd control Sanji had in that game were mostly converted into kills. If you were to look at the amount of crowd control combined by Kirk and Brusco, they weren't necessarily converted into kills. It was just more of them holding down the members of Team Liquid Philippines so they can't play as aggressively, so they can't just fully commit in the fights, because if they didn't do that, then there is a high chance the game would have ended way faster than it did.
More of a defensive crowd control compared to what TLPH was showing. And now the scoreboard 2-2. You know, we're so used to the grand finals of MPL being a 4-1 or a 4-0. And last season it was game 7, and I think we're en route to replicating what happened last S14 between Onyx Philippines and Aurora. Because so far, I don't even want to predict anymore or say anything, because I can't see who's gonna win.
Honestly, I do not.
Whoa, केडा हो.
But we had to in the start.
We did, but
if you were to change your prediction,
I don't.
For me, I won't.
I won't.
I still believe in the Sonics.
Mirko already did the
Mirror Curse. Or could be a Mirror Bless.
Or it could be a Mirror Bless. It depends. It depends. But the way it's looking right now, the series is evened out. So it's literally back to what?
Best of 3. And we saw them with best of 3s. The first half of the regular season, TLPH was able to sweep Onyx Philippines, and in the second half, it became game 3. So I think they're going to replicate it again, but of course everyone wants to see a game 3, win or lose. The action here in the Champions Arena is just so much. Again, I can already feel our stage here, our mini stage here, the English desk.
Panel.
English panel, sorry. Vibrating, shaking, because the drums, everyone. And you can see not everyone is seated because of how jam-packed Champions Arena is right now.
You need some time to breathe.
You need some time to relax.
You need some time to get out. I mean, the venue is pretty cool, so they also might want to warm their
You even have your own black
Player transfer this month.
While they're playing, it's weird, but you know, when they die, they tend to like warm their hands a bit with the hot water.
I think we have to warm our hands for a bit right now, because we have to pass the mic to our lovely host. It's going to be Hans and Jamie. Take it away.
Maraming salamat sa ating panelists. It is 2-2 ang ating score para sa Grand Finals. Nasa likod namin ngayon ang Super Fam. Of course, together with their country manager from Onyx Philippines, Sir Rafael Sanchez. Boss Raf, bihira lang kita makausap dito on cam, but I want to know, because this is a really important milestone para sa Onyx Philippines. I believe this is your first time representing the Philippines and MSC, correct?
Yeah, correct.
What is the significance of this? Anong ibig sabihin nito para sa iyo at para sa buong team?
I think yung significance kasi ng pagsama ng MSC kasi is, to be honest, yung pangarap namin magkaroon ng Golden Road. So yun yung gusto namin ma-achieve as a team.
I like it. Golden Road being achieved by the Philippines dito sa Onyx Philippines, and I like it. The Super Fam likes it. I want to know more thoughts coming in from Jamie over here. Jamie, kamusta?
Thank you so much, Hans. And you can hear it. I am here at the the camp of the cavalry. Let's go!
उयो फुच्चे कराइछ यार मुझे पछाडि बसेर
Mr. Daniel Santoso, who traveled all
लिक्विड
the
को मुझे
way.
टी-शर्ट पनि लगाएर बसेको रहेछ
Where did you travel from, Mr. Daniel? Jakarta, to be here to witness the games. You know, it's an important day. Now, Hans just talked about how important it is for Onyx Philippines to represent the Philippines at MSC. What about you? How important is it for your organization?
Hello, sir. Hello,
that
hello.
you have the representatives for MSC and MWI. How does it feel?
It feels truly amazing. I'm very proud of all of the players and all
ओ टेक्सर जुट्टी गोल्ड पास हाल्दैको खोइ यार जुट्टी तिमीलाई नै पर्खिरहेको थिए यार गोल्ड पास हाल्दैौ न यार मेरो के रे काम ढिलो भइराछ के सीओसी मा
Winning is everything and they are here to prove themselves. Hans, what can you say about that?
Now we're talking about winning this time.
फाइनल त हो त नि यार आज यार
I think this begs the question. Boss Raf, why is Onyx Philippines more deserving of this season 15 title than Team Liquid Philippines is?
Well, to be honest, either or of us are willing, are deserving. Because I know that the players of Liquid and even also on Onyx are very hardworking. But in all honesty, for us, every international championship that we've joined, we've won. So I think we deserve MSC.
Every international champion.
ओ टेक्सर जुट्टी त्यो हालिहाल त त्यहाँनेरि मालहरु के पाउँछ होला नि त हैन बिल्डर सिल्डरको उयो पाउँदैन छिटो छिटो काम गर्ने त्यो छिटो छिटो काम गर्ने भने म छिटो छिटो काम गराउँदै गर्नु पर्यो यार एक दिन र दुई दिनको छ यार मेरो यार अहिले
I also agree that both teams are deserving here. We're very grateful that we have these rivals that we've fought through, that we'll continue to improve ourselves. It's not just about winning today, it's about lifting the MLBB scene for the world to see just how much passion, just how much work that all these kids do.
On garo COC
We're
अरे
just here and really happy, really proud for everybody, and made it best team win today.
I love that answer.
COC on गरिसके यार मैले
Win today.
Like it. Such a sport. Such a sport, Jamie. I like it. Now, with that being said, Boss Raf, nanggaling tayo sa Onyx Philippines.
COC on गरेर के गर्नुपर्ने भन त
Already, and you've watched the super fam grow. There are a lot of people supporting you and the entire team right here and moving forward sa MSC. Ano ang mensahe mo para sa lahat ng sumusuporta?
Sa totoo lang, gusto ko lang magpasalamat sa lahat ng sumusuporta sa amin. All to our loved ones, our fans, and the family. There were times na it was the hardest for us, the challenges that we overcome. But we're happy that no matter what happens, you've always stick through us. Actually, it's not even just the Sonic fans, but I would say everyone here in who is an MPL PH fan in
जिरो
general.
तिमीलाई पठाउन मिलेन अरे
Giving us more
कस्तो
reasons
कुरा
to
गरेको यार
Thank you for giving us
पठाउन पो मिलेन भन्दैछ यार अहिले आएर यार
the best that we can, and thank you for always making sure that you guys are supporting us with all your heart. So thank you, everyone.
Maraming salamat din, Boss Raf. I want to know, vibe check from Super Fammer, the Sonic family. What time is it? Everybody's alive. Jamie, kamusta naman dyan?
Daniel, you heard his
It's
message
only
for
time
the
po,
Super
Arita.
Fam. What about you? What is your message for all the ones supporting Team Liquid Philippines tonight? The ones who are here at the Champions Arena and the ones at home as well, and all over Asia and the world too.
Yeah, no matter where you're from, I'm extremely grateful for all of the support the fans are. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the fans. Whether you're in the Philippines, whether you're in Indonesia, the community is what we're all about. Look at this. The amazing community that we have is just amazing. And I
उयो त छक्सी हो क्या हो यार भनेको छ र पछाडी बस्ने ओनिकको पछाडी बस्ने हेर त्यो हल्लाउँदै बसिरहेछ नि
There you have it, Hans. Let's go.
I like it. Buhay na buhay ang Champions Arena. We started off in a best of 7 and now it's
वान डे फ्रेन्ड भएन र कस्तो कुरा गरेको यार जुट्टी हिजो मैले यति बेला तिमीलाई मैले उयो गरेको हैन एड गरेको हैन जुट्टी कस्तो कुरा गरेको यार हिजो मैले यति बेला सीओसी मा तिमीलाई एड गरेको हैन र
And it's time for our next matchup. And before all of that, I'd like to thank organizational heads. Imagine they're so uplifting because the passion that they share with the fans is Yeah, you can clearly see it, and shout out to Boss Rap. That was the most professional way to trash talk your opponent.
I
Saying
know.
that we both deserve it, but we deserve it more.
Yeah, every
'Cause
time we go
win.
out,
Yeah.
or we join an international tournament, we win. So it's something that we definitely deserve. But Boss Dan on the other side.
Yeah.
It's about
He
uplifting.
took the higher road. Yeah,
Yeah,
he
it's
took the
about
higher road.
uplifting.
Kस्तो सानो भएछ नि त यार
Both deserve it. It's uplifting the scene, and win or lose, they're gonna represent the Philippines anyway. So, props to them again. Fortunate that we have such very passionate.
कत्रो टाइम लाग्यो यार
Side of Onyx Philippines, Team Liquid Philippines, and the rest of our organizations here in MPL. But now, again, we are faced with the fact that our best of 7 just got trimmed down to a best of 3 once again.
They've been able to even out the series again and again. It's not necessarily just reverse sweeps happening here and there. It's literally alternating game. No, not exactly alternating games, but you know, like
1-to-1.
It's a one.
TL, Onyx, Onyx, TL.
Onyx, TL. So
yeah, but the point is, you get the point. You get the point. It's evened out.
You get the point. You get the point.
And now things will change. Momentum will change as we enter the drafting phase of game number 5.
आम्मामा है मुजी कस्तो हुन्छ यार फिलिपिन्स उयोहरूको त यार हेर न म्याकले भेन्यू पनि त्यस्तै
Let's go. Really glad you said calves there. Okay.
आमा पछाडी मुजी जंगलर बस्ने ठाउँमा जंगलरको उयो साइन पनि हरे क्या रोम बस्ने पछाडी रोम पनि हरे गोल्डको ठाउँमा गोल्ड मिडको लेनमा मिड हरे आमा
Granger trade, honestly. No, I will. For Onyx, it's due diligence. They take away the Matilda, but Liquid are have their eyes set on the Harith Granger trade now.
Yep. Seems like at least for the past few games, Team Liquid Philippines, they will be going back to the blue side in these show. They will be taken out for their last ban here. So yeah, majority, like most of the gold laners are still available out there, and so are the previously banned heroes, such as the Lucas Jushin. There are still potential options here since Onyx decided to ban out the Baksha instead.
Recently, one of the heroes Onyx had to respect was even the chip of JP that can pop out anytime soon.
Penny,
Zoe, could still be an option, but
Kalia.
among the first pickable heroes are still here, and they still decide to ban out the Lucas.
Wow.
Oi.
Oh my goodness!
It's his turn now.
Redmar, what are the chances of TLPH doubling down with a Luyi chip pick?
यो सान्जीले पनि बबाल खेल्छ हैन केडा हो यो सान्जीले पनि बबाल खेल्छ है यो लुई
I, for one, see that TLPH are more willing to now pick up either Loyi Hayabusa or even Loyi Fredrin in the jungle.
That seems like a great way. I feel like there's been a game in this series where Team Liquid Philippines felt how difficult
10 सेकेन्ड डिले हो क्या मेरोमा 10 सेकेन्ड डिले हो अभिषेक 10 सेकेन्ड हो धेरै हैन 10 सेकेन्ड डिले हो
So there goes the Fredrin alongside the Luyi.
Badang.
Oh, they didn't get banned out. No.
Oh, I know. Yeah, of course. They need.
यो ओएभले त रन मति के छ र जति बेलै मुजी ग्रान्जर मात्रै खेल्दो रहेछ यार
Savage, Kelra goes with the Granger, and it's the second time this series we're seeing a Luyi and Chip present.
इरितेर खेल्दा नि हुन्थ्यो त यार
Final pick for Onyx Philippines. Still no jungler here for King Kong.
Yeah, and they can pick it later. However, because I mean, it's not like Liquid are gonna ban Ling and Lance and Hayabusa. They're gonna only ban one of those. Most likely, this will end up being an assassin in the hands of King Kong. So they go for the Kimmy first. Okay.
लिम्बे होपिङ TLPS टु विन अरे ओ यसचोटि तिमी छौ कि छैनौ यो गेम जित भन्ने रनमा उयो भनेको हैन तिमीले ग्यालेक्सी रेडी भएर बस है हाल्नको लागि
It'll be a lot easier to complement the Kimmy with the chip too, especially with the recent adjustments made on this hero. Once you do get in, you have a way to immediately reposition and not just put yourself in danger. So these picks so far from Onyx, they're so heavy on damage, and you can expect like a very reliable output from them heading into this game.
We know that Kimmy is good paired up with
लास्ट गेम छैन यार अझै 2 गेम जसले जित्छ त्यसले जित्ने हो क्या
on the side of TLPH. That not might be the best option for Onyx Philippines and the XP laner right now, but they do, however, take out the Armut that can be paired up. As you mentioned, you guys have been calling this combination that can pop off if unchecked.
ओइ किम्मी खेल्दिरा यार
Although for Sanford, I believe
Blue.
the Blue and the Turizla, there's still options that they can consider heading into the second phase, considering that there is again a chip in the lineup of Onyx Philippines.
Most likely a glue Badang trade. Considering that Onyx has the chip, they might be more encouraged to pick up the Badang. Because the Badang would absolutely mess up the chip lineup. So let's see if that's going to be the case. With the ban of the Hayabusa, Lancelot is the last best jungler available for King Kong. They might pick up the Lance here, and then they'll just adjust their EXP laner depending.
There you go.
There! Lancelot for
किङ कङले ल्यान्सलट खेल्यो यार
the Fredrin of Carl TZ. Major throwbacks experience here again.
Whoa!
Whoa! Okay.
Oh, that's a big counter to the Kimmy. We played this early. Okay, pull back the Curtis. We played this early in our ranked games. Courtesy of, I believe it was Midnight of the Lolita role playing it earlier, and he just kept reflecting it.
Yeah, and the best part is if you reflect
Oh, and Leo was Clue, and it was really good.
you can pull. You can reflect the traction pulse and it'll still pull the enemy, so it's like you're having a Kimmy on your side.
Yeah.
And Midnight actually mentioned this previously that in the backstage that players are actually exploring.
सनफोर्डले अलवेज ग्लु अरे अनि ग्लु अहिले अनि अति बफ छ त ग्लु त खेल्छ त ग्लुले ल्याङ गर्छ नि त नि केडा हो ग्लु कस्तो हो त नि ग्लु अहिले अब्बरै ल्याङ गर्ने हिरो भएको छ नि ग्लु खेल्न आयो भने त ल्याङ गरेर अलि के गर्छ नि हौ
Yes, BOS stands for Body of Sanford.
Body of Sanford.
He's been the only guy playing it so far, so I understand. I went through that too. They banned the OHEB.
Yeah, banned the So far, I think we have more than two debut picks in the playoffs here in the grand finals. The Kufra, the Lolita. Now game 5 is fast approaching. What can you say about the swerve again for the side of TLPH?
I'm so excited for the Lolita, honestly. We'll finally be seeing it once again. And it's going to counter so much. I feel like even Kellera has to be wary about the presence of the potential skills that will just come back to Onyx Philippines later on whenever they do engage in a fight. But at least for King Kong, there's probably only the energy eruption that will stop him from dancing around the members of TL.
Down to a best of 3 in the grand finals. We Bear Bros, you got this.
Thank you very much, panel, and welcome back to the desk here. It's me, Nice Leo, and Renmar to bring you the action.
So far, previously unbeatable weapons out of their arsenals have already tasted defeat. Now a new weapon enters the fray, the Lolita.
लुई र ग्रान्जर भएर ड्यामेज पुगिहाल्छ नि केडा हो लुई र ग्रान्जर भएर ड्यामेज पुग्दैन लेटमा कस्तो कुरा गर्छौ यार
Spell vamp going around the two lineups. Super Prince has Rupture, Wilderness Blessing. Okay, standard with emblem builds.
Yep.
Could be a difficult one for King Kong, but at the same time, I see a universe where this could actually be an okay game for him. Question is, how is it going to fare for the rest of Onyx, considering, again, one of their biggest tools in the traction pulse of the Kimmy could be reflected back into them. The basic attacks of the Kimmy could be reflected back into them by the Lolita.
Yeah, JP's pick here is going to be crucial for TLPH, but I will say I am rather happy about our current meta in that down in the grand finals, we're still getting debut picks.
It's so wide open.
Yeah.
Again, there are games wherein you swore it was Badangable. Nary a shadow Badang shows.
Yep.
And Selena.
Yep. It's such a throwback. Again, Fredrin, man. He's just straight up back at this point. Even Lancelot too. Basha too. When are the Banes and the Barristas gonna come out?
Ooh, don't get me tingly. I'm glad that Sanford's back, you know?
Yeah.
There's a reason why that penalty zone was such a game changer a couple years back.
Exactly. And
TLPS बडी ट्याङ्की हिरो लिन्छ अरे अब तिनीहरूलाई जेमा उयो छ त्यही लिन्छ नि अघि हाइबुसा खेलेको त देखेनौ त हाइबुसा पनि खेल्छ कहिलेकाहीँ काल्टीजीले राम्रो खेल्छ नि
Onyx are giving up this first turtle.
Sanji flickered forward, smells the blood and friends. Phantom execution, the answer by King Kong. Puncture it, and the first blood drawn. The lone stallion.
गल्ती गर्यो त्यसले फ्लिकर हानेर गएर यार
All just playing faint because Liquid, they were working on the Lord.
मार्नु पनि सकेन
Liquid gets the turtle. That was a risk that Sanji was willing to take by burning the flicker.
Yeah, added to the Oxford Dictionary earlier this year, the word gigil. Now officially an English word, not just in Filipino. Search up what it means, but that's what Sanji showed there. Too much gigil, way too expensive. Costed his flicker. He forced the flicker out of Super Frizz, but they gave a kill to a hero that they did not want to give a kill to.
Yeah, so going back to the whole point about King Kong in this game, specifically on the Lancelot, getting an early kill like that, probably is going to give him a little bit of confidence and room to work with now to go ahead and scale up the way that he wants to. Early game even, and they'll have to play around it.
Okay, the items. Oh, Molten Essence straight for Carl TZ, of course. So that he could farm up a little bit quicker. Brusco might get caught out. Shortcut.
Carl TZ answered by the shortcut. There's a summon force got by Kelra.
Oi, man!
Shutting down Brusco.
Oi!
That's a
Oi! यसुटी कहाँ छ यसुटी कहाँ छ यसुटी हेर्दैछौ होइन त रनमा हेर्दैछौ कि छैन कस्तो हान्थ्यो यार
So I guess timing fights with it isn't natural anymore. Kelra coming in 2v1. Brusco to the rescue. Liquid backing out.
I will admit, I have been desperately crawling in my memory banks to remember the ultimate of the Lolita. So I'm glad that you said it. The Nyum Nyum Blast. Oh, Friends!
Friends gets popped here. Who would have thought that there wasn't enough firepower between a Fred and a Lu Yi this early?
I wonder how many people have literally looked at that ultimate and tried to say it.
Numenon is an actual word, by the way.
Yeah,
Yes, it is. It's not made up.
It's not made up. It wasn't created in the land of Dawn.
Hut.
But that's essentially
Lovely se kaya yaar.
between having an Appraiser's Wrath, having the Numeron Blast available to you. There's a whole lot of area that Onyx Philippines does not want to get caught in.
Glue, Lo Yi, and Lolita, along with the Fredrin all together to supplement a strong backline gold laner. We are so definitely back. King Kong misses, so does Kirk.
Oh man, Kirk committed the penalty zone there. And it's the same play, look at this. Liquid go for the turtle one more time for free.
They don't want to go for these objectives. They're going to diversion now up top. They're in a threat here for King Kong's jungle.
Oh, I could have sworn they had ill intentions for the king there. Let him go. Scot-free.
I thought, like, once they saw that the orange buff was pulled or it wasn't there, it's like, hey guys, maybe we should try invading this. But no, they didn't want to waste the time to check and confirm it. The Grand Final pocket pick, the last time Lolita was played in a Grand Final match, I remember this so well. Season 11 by then Echo Roamer. Yaoi versus Blacklist International. If I'm not mistaken, that was in game number 2.
And Yaoi won.
Yeah.
That was the season they became champions.
Yeah, and of course that Lolita for then Echo. That Lolita was what costed them the season 10 Grand Final. So wait, King Kong.
King Kong could be in trouble. Phantom Execution's on out. Carl TZ though.
Kirk looking for an entry. Carl TZ very low. Penalty zone once again. Summon force by Kelra. Now goes Brusco. Straight up for Carl TZ. 1-for-1 the exchange. Make that a 2-for-1. Kirk. Mopping the floor with the Sanford. Super Frizz goes down. Ohem finds him within range. Kirk still wailing away. Glue versus Terizla. Terizla versus Glue. This could go on for days. In comes Ohem to finish the job. Kirk, where you going? Kirk, BOS doing its job. Finally he bites it.
Man, the body of Smith, the body of Sanford will help you, but not enough to deal with the bullets from Ohem.
He took a lot of time. The
Right.
Team Liquid Philippines eventually got the trade.
यसुटीलाई चाहिँ बोलाऊ रनमा यसुटी कहाँ भाग्न आँटेको छ कि बोलाउनु पर्छ है
With the zone out, and they do get the major trade, not just with the bodies, but with the towers as well. Liquid solidifying their lead and control in this game number 5.
Oh, the diversion. They sent Kaltizi out. Just enough time to spot the purple take by King Kong. Onyx are holding on this mid lane tier 1.
Yeah, they're going to be able to hold on to that, but this turtle, I don't know if they're just going to give all the
यो मुजीले खेलेको स्किन यो ग्लुको स्किन त मसँग पनि छ यार
King Kong working on his orange, but this is just blitz, so that's going to be 3 for 3 in the turtles for TLPH. We'll see if Onyx Philippines wants to go ahead and contest that first Lord once it's up. But right now, turret it does go down in the bottom lane, so they at least put one on the board. Onyx Philippines will have to go ahead and scrap around with what they can, because it seems like, again, they're just kind of at the whims of answering to this aggression that TLPH has thrown at them right now.
Yeah, King Kong's been able to farm up well, but again, there's only so much Lancelot can do in the sequences. The only time he actually got to get a kill was that early aggression by Sanji, over-aggression, which in the big picture of it all was actually just chump change they were willing to give to Onyx. Now they might get this tower in mid.
Coming in, penalty zone from Kurt. Kelra with the Zaman force. Brusco pushing the rest of Liquid back. They've cut through the formation. Oheb backing out here. Numenor blast.
ओए लभली को छोरी आम्मामा यो हो नि त खेलाइ केटा देख्यौ त यो हो नि त ओइ मुजी ओइ 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 ओइ
The diversion by Sanji, covering all the bases. Liquid don't want to take no prisoners. Sanji and Kaltizi pushing King Kong out.
त्यो के भन्छ एस चुटीलाई म्यासेज गर्दा है एस 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 यो गेम पनि लिक्विडले जित्यो नि अब गाह्रै छ
After that error with the chip earlier in the series. Previous game, it was the Basha. This game is a little Lita. Daddy JP has been showing up for the kids.
He is a man on a mission. He will not let his legacy be tainted by that chip. One more look at that gameplay here.
This is so good. Again, the shortcut comes through.
आम्मामा कस्तो लभली हान्थ्यो त यार हान्न पनि यार
And that really wasn't the shortcut angle that you were looking for in that exchange anyway in the mid.
Yeah, add to that the taunt by Carl Teasy to solidify.
बेस्ट अफ 7 हो बेस्ट अफ 7 जसले 4 गेम जित्यो त्यसले जित्छ 2-2 गेम भएको छ 2-2
resources. They have items on Kelra, very far away though from the Holy Crystal. He's still on the Starlium side and the Feather of Heaven, so it's going to take a lot of time. Super Prince as well is struggling with the items. They have gold, money, damage on King Kong, but they need significantly more. They're going to give this up.
Yeah, Lords for the taking here. I'm not sure if Onyx Philippines really wants to contest this. It's being blitzed down though.
Brusco with a good seal, coming in from an off angle, sets up the shortcut. Lord still in a very perilous position. Retribution unneeded. Sanji scores it. And Kirk here gets pulled in. The grab serves up another stack for
Diversion.
Oheb.
Diversion.
Where are they sending it? Right behind Super Prince. Carl Teasy.
मरेन त यो पनि अनि
7-0-2. Oheb to some, kill one to others. To his enemies, the last thing they never see.
To Brigida, the Oheb. And now in the mid lane, they're going to push in a little bit further. The shields are going to pop. And this is a moment. Still, Lord is up. TLPH, how are they going to continue on this? And Onyx, what do they do here?
They split push. Look at King Kong here. Committing Grand Theft Purple, pushing that tier to a top. And he needs to get back home. That inhibitor is in jeopardy. Look at the back line here. Numenor blast one more time. No flicker. In comes Brusco. Shortcut coming through. Sanford trying to clear this spot here for OM to fire back. Down goes Brusco. Traded out for Sanji. Carl Teasy very low as well. JP gonna bite it. Bulwark able to save him for just that much longer. Winning trade for Onyx, but they do lose their inhibitor.
I asked what could they do, and that's exactly what they did. They split push, they come in with a shortcut, they get a double for King Kong, and they get some much needed gold in the hands.
Yeah, Kirk and Brusco, who both have radiant armors to boot, and an anti-cuirass on the Terizla. They opened it up, they gave Onyx that opportunity, and it was a brilliant follow-up from the Super Fam. As JP was forced to commit his flicker out, he could not use the flicker Numenon Blast to turn the fight around. He had to use the Numenon Blast defensively. And
एस चुट्टी लामो तिमी चाहिँ रनमा उयो गर्दै गर न माल हाल्दै गर रनमा
Onyx pulled the trigger at the very right time. If that fight
हजारको माल के रे ग्यालेक्सी हैन ग्यालेक्सी सेक्दै गर्दा हुन्छ रनमा यो गेम पनि मुझे जितिसक्यो लगभग
there's a world I see where this is done.
Yeah, it definitely could have been, and with that, it was a good response because they chose that fight once they saw that opportunity. And it's always the case, like anytime we have a Louis and a Chip on these teams or on the playing field, you know that those ultimates are going to be crucial here. Once again, the diversion has played a part. It's even good for faking things out, but so is that shortcut where Brusco has to be a little more calculated with this. So items, are they looking pretty good for Onyx now?
Yep.
के भन्छ एसटी रनमा यो गेम जित भने भनेको हैन रनमा यहाँ
Have to be more strategic with how they take their fights to ensure that they get to put pressure onto Kelra. Super Friends actually built up a Demon Hunter sword. Again, there are elements of Kimmy's kit, most importantly her abilities that also scale with physical damage as well. And of course, we know with Kimmy, the more attack speed you build onto her, she does get more magic power as well.
So DHS, a winner of an item here for Super Friends, might provide that power spike they're looking for. Help them maybe contest. I don't know, man. I'm not in a position to say if they should, because that's a good position for Brusco.
Yeah. We'll see how they do it. He's actually he's going to get spotted out. Okay.
The jig's up. The jig is up. Whoa! Shortcut. Northern Blast to respond. A couple of big ticket ults though. Brusco's going the long way around, man. This is a Pamela angle. This is a clear go sign. When the cat's out, the mouse goes blaze. Sanford gets that grab on the King Kong. 4v1. In comes the rest of the cavalry from the back.
Here they come. He can't get away. Still going to be worked on. Sanford now half health. Do they just go for the Lord? It's been started up by Carl TZ. You know, Super Friends will keep Sanford at bay, but they have no choice without Brusco.
ओ एसटी अब केही अब यो गेम जितेपछि अर्को माल केही छ भन है अब ग्यालेक्सी पनि हाल्दै गर्दा हुन्छ तिमीले
The Apex Predator held down the line. And I want to go back to see what Brusco did. He could have used that that wide walk to go somewhere way safer. But I felt like that was telegraphed. He wanted to try to pull the attention of Team Liquid, which he did, to force an answer so that they would commit the diversion to him, which they did. Onyx just did not have enough resources to bliss down the Lord as Sanford stuck with the Lord. Yeah. Team Liquid Philippines telegraphed the move that Onyx wanted to do. Great MOBB by these two teams.
Again, it's just showing how much these teams know about each other and about high-level decision-making. Onyx Philippines is going to have to make that happen here as they defend full force into the base. You saw Brusco off on the side, though. He might look for his angle here on the back line.
Traction pulse already spent up. Kelra, the Salmon Force, massive DPZ here. Sanji gets taken down. JP barely alive. Look at the back line here. Oheb blasting away at King Kong. Down goes JP. Kelra getting two so far. This is looking like Onyx have picked a good fight. Liquid should back out of here. Down goes Sanford.
And with that defense, Onyx Philippines will find 3 kills and stay in the game.
Liquid gets nothing.
Brusco with the gank. The Bruiser coming up big time. Bruises do heal, but the emotional damage from what he did just now does not.
Oi, man.
Here comes the rest of them. It's not over. Another Salmon Force. Underneath tier 2 this time around. Kelra takes down Oheb. And Carl TZ to boot.
All part of the plan, says Brusco, as Redmar was just talking about it.
That was Aftershock.
Liquid are turning purple, black, and blue. Brusco, 2 massive shortcuts, massive plays on the chip. I thought he stood there for nothing, but he was able to get the shortcut off in time, just as he was going down. As we look at the instant replay, this was the gank. Conceal, flicker committed, Oheb got space, but Carl TZ was busy with Super Friends. He used the Appraiser's Wrath, but Super Friends already flickered before that. Sanford went in, last shot to King Kong, but Oheb could not help him out as Brusco was covering Oheb's sentry. And now Onyx have made this an even ball game. This could go anyone's way. The towers lean towards Liquid, but if they have another massive error again, then Onyx might run away with it.
Again, we'll find ourselves in this position where Onyx had to crawl back at one point. They've done that, and now they have evened out the field for this Lord take here in 10.
They've been so good at breaking up Liquid's formation. As soon as I saw the traction pulse not get hit by the bulwark, and Liquid just go, okay, we'll still go anyways. That was a clear sign that Onyx was comfortable. And when Onyx is comfortable, you better not be the opposing team because they tend to do things like this now. Onyx, not even looking at the Lord. There should be a singular sign of something's up.
Something's up here. You see how much threat Kirk has too because of what just happened in that base defense. He was able to get the penalty zone on multiple members, so TLPH has to not be sure they don't clump up because that's exactly where Kirk wants to go, especially when that flicker is available. So they'll go ahead, have it reset for now, grab the buffs that they need, and then get ready. You can see Calder's holding on to that purple buff for now. And this could be a game-winning Lord, really, at this point for both the teams.
50-50. Brusco staying with King Kong with a split push, so just in case someone decides to gank up there, he has backup. Chip can get here fast, though. Sanford holding the beacon.
Oh,
they're going.
In comes Brusco, why walk, plus a shortcut, flicker spent. Lumen on blast.
Ago.
The Sigma jungler from taking the Lord. Black and yellow, this major objective will be. Liquid still alive, the rest of Onyx as well. JP coming through, looking for that bug. Diversion up from the back line. Not much of a play. Sanji and Sanford can make from that angle. King Kong answers with a Thorn Rose. Nothing phased Onyx.
No one goes down in that whole interaction, but the Lord ultimately secured by King Kong.
King Kong, of course, one of the major strengths of the Lancelot. Press Thorn Rose and you are out of the map for a moment. And there were so many things going on that he was in a safe retribution spot. At this point, I would not be surprised if he told me that King Kong was maybe somewhere.
Hey, back in what? His debut was at season 9, season 10?
12.
Season
11.
On TSC, I remember when he was making those retributions back then in his rookie season, we were saying, and look how he's performing now, you know, up to this point.
That's a world champion you're talking about.
That's a world champion. But we saw the potential back in the rookie season, and right now it's Onyx Philippines with a huge momentum leading into the base of TLPH. Lord's going to charge into the top turret. They'll hold it together. Kirk has the penalty zone, but no flicker. So they might just try to get turrets for now, not try to force the game win push yet.
We've seen many Lolita defend from inside their base and clap it back. So this is something Onyx respects very well.
It's one massive Numenon blast versus one massive penalty zone. Kirk landed a really good one.
एउटाले मिस्टेक गर्यो भने सकिहाल्छ यार गेम.
Gave Onyx the win in the big picture. More minions coming in for them, and they continue their siege.
Great, base is going to be worked on still. Waves are pushed in, but I think that's all they get. Gentlemen, this is just going to get the top turret. So this is going to be a long game. This is going to be one of the ones that goes the distance here so far in the series. Next to the next Lord, it's a minute away.
Kada 200 like banam, 200 like banam, 200 like banam. Guys, everyone 200 like.
When you have a Loyi and a Chip in play, they can go for a surprise factor. Are there anything that could happen here with the items? I know they're not completely locked in.
Okay, so the Rose Gold Meteor from OHEB is a great item choice. Keller decided to go for full damage. No Blood Wings around here. Concentrated Energy, Divine Glaive, even the Wishing Lantern. So that Rose Gold Meteor will come in the clutch for OHEB. For how much, we'll see. JP now just built up an anti-Karash, should help with the damage output a bit of King Kong, and it even reduces a little bit of the damage output of the Kimmy, again considering that the Kimmy ability scale with physical and deal physical that will proc anti-Karash stacks on the Kimmy of Super Friends.
I'm impressed that Kirk isn't building any damage items, like not even a War Axe.
Yeah.
Like he knows he's a penalty zone machine.
He's just the guy to jump in. You know,
just a guy with a big hammer.
Just a big hammer.
It's just a wall.
You know, you go through life sometimes. That's a burden itself.
Whoa, what?
Sounds too real. Are we still talking ML?
Yeah.
Man.
Talking about Kirk here, man.
Ah, yes.
यिनीहरुले सुरुमा माथि नै हान्नुपर्छ क्या माथि नै जानुपर्छ क्या यिनीहरु.
Now I'm getting quite reflective and overthinking everything. Anyways, Onyx still sticking with his formation of 2-3 with Brusco hovering around where King Kong is. Playing on the possibility that King Kong might be able to split push as the objective is up. Good control of the shrubs. Good formations from both, although Liquid Philippines cannot play the same spread as Onyx. They have to play close, they have to play tight. I think if they can force a very early engagement by Onyx, that should be their turnaround point.
Both buffs are up here, so they'll give Kel with the purple. King Kong's gonna go grab the orange, and TLPH working on theirs as well. Both roams gonna be playing a crucial part here. JP too, if he can get a Numenon Blast with the flicker available, that could turn the tide of this fight, and that's why it's gonna be they're gonna take their time with this. And they continue to do this. We saw Onyx Philippines pretty much do this all game. They'll go ahead and plant King Kong alongside Brusco up top on the long portion of the map. And I would say it's a minor advantage. You know, they have that long lane, whereas instead, Onyx only lost that mid turret.
Yes, and to add to that, Onyx kit, what they're threatening Liquid with, is a surprise from an off angle. You can only cast Luminous Blast from a certain angle. If Brusco finds you from the behind, that's so much harder for JP to recover from.
Okay. Unless he flickers backward.
Yes, the Euro step.
The Euro step.
Euro step fade away 360 Numenon Blast.
Yeah, made popular by Ben Things.
Yep.
But again, it's easier said than done.
You also have to consider that the Guardian's reflection of the Lolita does reflect the basic attack of the Harith. It counts as a projectile, so that might come into play later on. I think, again, besides the Numenon Blast, it's really the Guardian's reflection that Onyx want to play around. But their damage output is so great at this point that they burn that Guardian's reflection so quickly.
Right now, we'll see if they can... This Lord hurts.
What is this positioning? Kaltizi holding the shrub. I think they're going to try and set up either for a diversion or a conceal play from that middle shrub later.
Yeah. They'll try something they haven't tried all game long.
Yeah. All right, they put Kaltizi in a roam
game
style to try to get vision for his own purple buffs. Like, I'm the roam now.
I think you just kind of have to. Like, you got to get... We were in this
एउटा दुईटा
position,
तीनटा ट्याङ्की छ यार यतापट्टि.
You just got to get creative, you know, and it was, unfortunately, it was the other way around. So right now, TLPH, they'll just kind of see what they can get the information that they need here.
They're flushing Brusco out.
Yeah.
They would rather face Brusco head on and then force a respond with a shortcut, because so far, Onyx doesn't like that. Onyx doesn't like when shortcut comes in as a reactionary ult.
Yeah, they're looking for the chip first. That's why Brusco decides to back off. Onyx shifted their position into something more defensive, because they know that if they can find Brusco, they can use the diversion to quickly get back to the objective. Sanford can hold on for as long as he could against that. Now a shift again, a long dance around the map, not just around the objective pit at this point. The top minion wave though. Let's see if Liquid will try to find a way to leverage that, knowing
वेभ को त 10 किल भने त्यो स्क्यापेचर को ड्यामेज त मुझे 80 होला त यार इसको त.
A fight breaking out. Prince threw out a traction pulse. Odd.
Maybe that's just the chance. You know, like, oh, if I grab someone with the traction pulse, then great, we can maybe start this up, but they'll start the Lord up anyway for now here.
Yeah, 40 has vision. 40 knows that Onyx wants to dance. Onyx is beckoning Liquid to respond. Lord here at less than half health. King Kong is not in vision, so even 40's looking for him.
Yeah, and Onyx are very smartly holding the middle shrubs because they know if ever Liquid are on the other side of the map, that is the most likely shrub Sanji would want to enter. So they're also denying the potential of a diversion play through there, and I think Sanji's thinking the same way.
Okay.
Oh my goodness. Fantastic macro from these two, managing the minion waves, trying to play around their big ticket transportation, teleportation ultimates. And now TLPH are trying to force a reaction. They show themselves up top, but Onyx are not biting the bait.
They're not going to bite the bait here, man. Sanford is just able to go ahead and plant himself and give the vision.
Welcome to late 2022. Lord dances would go on this long. This is the normal tempo of a late game Lord dance. What's going on? Diversion. Just a feint. Wonder if Onyx saw that.
Kirk got to see it. Actually, since Kirk went in there, Sanji decided to call it off. 1,156 Skypiercer stacks on this Granger. It's not a question of does O have a damage. It's more of a question of does TLPH have enough to hold on long enough, considering that the late game magic damage scaling of the Kimmy and Harith is what's making their front line crumble relatively quickly.
Yeah, this is probably the most
game
like maybe in the playoffs even, but definitely in this series where neither team can really give it a go. You know, they have such big macro ultimates available to both of them that they really have to be decisive on it. And that's the thing, when you're looking at this.
Oh, Brusco?
Why walk?
Are they? Oh no, he's trapped.
Oh no, Brusco's gonna be trapped. He's gonna need the help.
There's a retribution by Kaltizi. Numenon Blast. Here comes the rest of Onyx. They pop Brusco's immortality. Good. Here comes the Zaman Force. And the sling from the puncture. Down goes Kaltizi. No trade so far. Liquid finding it hard. Look at the back line. Another catch Brusco will go down.
Oh, Brusco goes down. Sanford Immortality going to be popping. Look at the
lane.
lane.
They're setting up a split push.
It's a base race.
OM and Sanji. Rico's coming through. Here comes Kirk first. Super Prince flickers forward. And the base.
Yes!
Book. Vintage Liquid.
Run Maya. Galaxy.
History of our league. Liquid. Vintage. And it's not just vintage.
Lovely go chori hai.
For Liquid.
Oh, they came out of the stables and went with their own stampede. 3-2 right now. Let's throw it over to the panel.
Galaxy.
I mean, look at the Champions Arena right now. What just
Galaxy hanne kaha gayo Galaxy hanne? Yes jutti kaha gayo?
The DNA, Renmar has been saying this all throughout. The DNA of Team Liquid Philippines still in there. The
Lovely sekai yaar.
After how long was that? 24, 25 minutes?
26?
Imagine.
Yes khoi yes kaha gayo yes?
A long game like
Yes kaha gayo यसलाई झिकाऊ. यसलाई झिकाऊ यहाँनेरि. रनमा यो गेम जित्यो भने रनमा ग्यालेक्सी भन्दै छ. ग्यालेक्सी हान्नु पर्ने भयो नि त यार यसले. कहाँ गयो यस?
They could have clearly punished Team Liquid Philippines' attempt to take down Brusco, but oh my goodness.
यस कहाँ गयो यस?
It indeed wasn't a question of whether or not this guy.
ल यस जुटी हेलो. कहाँ गयो यस? ग्यालेक्सी झारा ग्यालेक्सी. ग्यालेक्सी
It was buying enough attention so they could utilize his damage in other areas and in other ways to close out the game.
And that was through a turret.
During S9, S8, S9, then Carl Lins was goaded.
Of Sanji, our game MVP.
ओ यसचोटि के भनेको अझै एक गेम छ. पुरै गेम जित्ने भनेको र यो एक गेम भनेको हैन र तिमीले. कस्तो कुरा गरेको यार.
With an amazing game, started out strong and even came to a point where he was at 8-0-0 before he got taken down in a crucial moment. And all throughout, you could feel that the momentum has been shifting. The pendulum kept swinging. You really didn't know who was winning. It started out strong with TLPH with an aggressive start, despite Sanji actually getting bit by the first blood. And you can continuously see JP very active with the Lolita, not just with the Bulwark Shield, but also 2 consecutive.
यो एक गेम जित्यो भनेको हैन र. फाइनल गेम त बाँकी नै छ नि. पुरै गेमको भनेको र तिमीले एक गेम भनेको हैन र.
Objective. It was an exchange of the turtle that Team Liquid Philippines got earlier in the first few minutes of the game, and eventually they were just able to hold on to this lead that they had. There were so many beautiful Numenon blasts coming in from JP throughout the, I'd say up until the 10th minute mark, like this moment more or less, because this was when Onyx was able to look for a way to clap back. This was when they were able to slowly gain control over the map as well and limit Team Liquid Philippines in terms of what they're able to do. And this was the play which actually maybe not just evened out the game, but put it a little more in terms of Onyx, in terms of the advantage. Onyx Philippines felt that they could play things a lot more aggressively than they were able to do so in the past few minutes because of that play, but we have to look
दामी माइन्ड गेम हान्यो अरे.
came into play.
4 गेम जित्नु पर्छ का 3-2 भयो कडा 3-2. यस जुटी कहाँ गयो यार? बोल्नै छोड्यो त यार.
Walk towards the base. Once you take down Sanford, you could already end the game because that's 2 tanky members.
रोज पो सेक्दैछ त यार 31 वटा यार.
Decided to use the diversion all the way to Onyx Philippines and their base.
Right straight to the goal, and if we were to hear a mic check for any of the games that
कहाँ रोज सकेको यार जुटी यार रनमा ग्यालेक्सी भनेर यार.
what were the comms?
ग्यालेक्सी भनेर रोज सेक्ने यस्तो त भएन नि यार.
26 minutes. Actually, the previous game was an anomaly. 14-minute game. Even came to a point where in day number 3 of the playoffs, we were already at 5-hour runtime with all the games, but it was a relatively close game, but in the end, the decision, the decisiveness of TLPH to really go for the goal, sacrifice Sanford, go for the diversion play in the middle lane, split push, resort back.
Thank you यार for the roads. तर ग्यालेक्सी आएन यार.
If it were
जेली भयो
game ended in maybe less than 20, less than 15, it'll be all about the Lolita. It would have been all about the Lolita. Like, we would just be talking about the Numenon Blast, we would just be talking about the Guardian's Reflection and the way they're always able to deny Onyx Philippines of the amount of damage that they have, but it went past that. It went way past the 20-minute mark. So this boiled down to macro. This boiled down to who was the more patient team, who made the better and the right calls in that game. And it nearly was a wrong call for Team Liquid Philippines that Onyx clearly capitalized on, but they just bounced back. They just
फेरि जित्यो भने ग्यालेक्सी भनेर रोज सेक्दैछ अरे त्यही भनेको यार प्रिन्स ल्यामेज त खेल्यो अरे इट वोन्ट बी सेट रिभर्स स्विप ड्युड अरे ए अब तिमीहरू मुजी रुन्चे भन कि कुन्चे भन्छ कि गिँडै भन कि लेडै भन कि रनमा जसरी पनि गेम जित्नु हो क्या केटा हो त्यसलाई रुन्चे भन्छ मुजी तिनीहरूको ट्याङ्कले यता माथि तान्यो सबैजनालाई लुई गोल्डीले मुजी बिचमा गएर गेम सकाइ त त्यसलाई रुन्चे भन्छ त्यसलाई दिमाग भन्छ मुजी जो चाहिँ जुन चाहिँ तिमीहरूसँग छैन क्या कसले लेख्दैछ रुन्चे भने यो ईशान तिमीसँग चाहिँ छैन क्या त्यस्तो दिमाग चाहिँ ल भाइ
had to calculate his dashes. He had to make sure that he wouldn't be put in such a dangerous position, even though he wanted to carry that out.
Yeah, and I think the camera is going to pan back out to us, but no, not us, just you. So Brigida, take the floor again.
All right, it's just me now. The next few segments will indeed be a deep dive regarding what took place and what happened in that game. And starting off once again, I feel we have to take a look at the goal difference timeline, which went through a major shift by the time we reached the 14-minute mark. Again, during the 9-minute lore, that was a lore that went into the hands of Team Liquid Philippines. That was when they were slowly and gradually able to take control of the map. But if you look closely towards the 14-minute mark, that was actually when Onyx Philippines were able to pull off a team fight that were able to shift the tides in their favor. There were a couple of moments wherein it felt like there was almost nothing happening across the game, but that was just really both Onyx Philippines and both Team Liquid Philippines being very patient in terms of what they wanted to do next, because this was a game which initially felt like you could just go all out in terms of the Numenon Blast, in terms of the setups, in terms of throwing out the damage, since it came in early for the cores here of Team Liquid Philippines.
Lovely sekai there.
To dish out the necessary damage, but it was something, or it was a game that was prolonged long enough by Onyx Philippines, so it didn't necessarily.
hello. यसचोटि खोइ यार ग्यालेक्सी यार तिमी यार ला यस्तो नभन यार कहाँ गयो यार
The decisions that could happen because they could play around with the map as well, given that they had the chip in their hands. And now, looking at the item progression, this is where I feel like I have a lot more key things to talk about with regards to how the game actually progressed. So the way that JP just really wanted to provide that assistance to his teammates and especially to OHEB was reflected in the way that, again, the Flask was the priority pickup here for them. So if you would recall the first few minutes wherein even though Onyx Philippines wanted to play a little more aggressively, there was King Kong, of course, who could just use the puncture to dash towards his key targets, then you could rely on JP, especially if you stay with him long enough. There will be some additional shields that you could get from him, and that'll allow you to sustain the fights a little longer.
त्यही भनेको बेन भाइ हैन सान्जी र सानफोर्डले हान्छ नि तिनीहरुको कम्बो कस्तो खेलाउँछ
coming in from Super Prince around the 13-minute mark of the game. And again, this is the beauty of seeing a Kimmy. There is just so much flexibility and versatility that can come into the way you decide to go about the builds. You can either go for the typical Kimmy builds when you put her in the goal, but once you put her in the mid, there are a bit more options to choose from, and this probably has been definitely felt when we extended the game a little longer. But ultimately, again, it was the macro that mattered. It was the macro that allowed Team Liquid Philippines to eventually close out this long game.
Yeah, and what matters to Onyx Philippines now is to do everything they can to extend this series, because right now the Cavalry is making some noise. They're now on match point against the defending champions. So,
We need some time to breathe.
We need some time to breathe. We need to have a change of scenery. So let's check out what's happening at the MPL PH playgrounds.
Superfans, this is your very own Odin, and we're here right now at MPL Philippines 7-year history wall. So this features the highlights that we've had sa loob ng 7 taon from 2018 to 2024 na nangyari sa history ng Pilipinas sa MLBB. And we have a fan here na mga kasama. Hello! What's your name?
My name is Joko.
Joko, so sa ating 7-year history, anong pinaka-paborito mo nangyari?
For me, yung year na pumasok yung Bren sa
जित्यो अर्को गेम जितिसक्यो त यार यसचोटि यार तिमी रनमा रोज हानेर बस्दैछौ यार
Ng peak ng paglalaro mo ng ML, and up until now you're here ha. Sobrang masaya kami na we're sharing this floor with you. And bakit nga ba Bren lang malakas para sa'yo?
Favorite ko kasi si Carl TZ. So, at that season, medyo na-addict na ako sa ML.
Nung time na yun, ang
ग्यालेक्सी
bata
हेरौँ
ni
त
Carl TZ,
हानौँ त हेरौँ अरे त्यही भनेको यार ग्यालेक्सी भनेर रनमा एउटा रोज हान्दैछ यार
Yes, I support Team
ल आयो ग्यालेक्सी आयो
Gusto ko yung play.
एस ओपन त चढाने कडा एस ओपन त च्याट
So ngayon ay malinaw na malinaw, kahit di pa natin tanungin kung sino yung champion niya, TLPH para kay Joko. Thank you so much, Joko. And if you wanna visit our MPL Philippines 7-year history, madadaanan niyo siya bago kayo pumasok ng Champions Arena. See you around! We're here right now with the Infinix Fancy Laban champions for Season 2, the Cavalry! Hello, boys! Introduce yourselves, your IGN, and your role.
Echo, Mage. Rome po. Ayato sa Expelane. Si Ansay, Jungle. J, Gold.
So for the second time around, sila ang nagkampiyon sa ating Infinix Fancy Laban, nakakatapos lamang na ginanap dito sa MPL Playgrounds. So Echo, ano naman pakiramdam na 2-time champion na kayo?
Sobrang saya po.
Wow, sobrang saya ngayon ni Echo. Ano ba yung preparations na ginawa nyo knowing na sasalang ulit kayo at nakaabot kayo ng championship?
Practice lang and then scrim sa mga ibang teams lang.
So may mga ka-scrim din talaga kayo?
Yes, naghahanap po kami.
Pero nakakalaro nyo ba yung pro team ng TLPH or sobrang busy nila?
Ibang MDL teams lang po.
Oh, MDL teams ang nakaka-scrim. So ganun kayo kalakas, nasasabay nyo yung mga MDL teams. Kumusta naman so far yung experience nyo dito sa MPL Playgrounds?
Sobrang saya din po. Nakaka-EJ po siya sobra dahil sa mga boots po.
Ay, siguro naman. Alam natin kung sino magcha-champion para sa inyo. Oh, isang cheer naman para sa TLPH dyan.
1, 2, 3. Let's go, Liquid!
Okay. Energetic sila sa loob ng MLBB. Balik na muna sa inyo.
Thank you so much, your very own Odin, for giving us an insider of what's happening at the MPL PH playgrounds. It's also jam-packed. We just saw the back-to-back champions of our Fancy Laban. And of course, she talked also about the 7-year history of MPL. So far, what has been your favorite memory in the span of 7 years?
For me, I guess it's M5.
Oh,
really.
don't take mine. That's mine also.
We
can
both
share.
had, like, oh, whoa, wait.
यो को यो रणमतिको छोरा केटा हो कि केटी हो
That's our clear head super fan of the day, and I believe he's also a singer here locally in the Philippines. And did you know that men like me get 5 times more dandruff versus women like her scalp? What? Use Clear Men with 3 times triple anti-dandruff power for 100% dandruff-free hair.
Because apparently no one understands men like Clear. So power up your
केटा हो लामो अरे
supercharged with Clear. I can't believe that's real. His hair looks like it's straight out of an anime or something.
Fortunately for it's good timing that Clear's entered the picture in the MPL scene, because finally my hair has grown and I can finally use shampoo, just like our super fan there who had a luscious, very luscious hair.
Oh yeah, you gotta use shampoo so you could, of course,
Smell
avoid
good.
dandruff and smell good. Like Clear has got your back. So I hope you guys got some freebies if you did visit us here.
Yeah, but if you don't have hair and can't use Clear, you can still enjoy other stuff like Time Zone has an exclusive promo just for you. Get for 100 pesos. Power Load for only 200 pesos.
All you have to do is register on the Time Zone Fun app, insert the promo code TZXMPL, you're seeing it right there, and redeem the voucher at any of your favorite Time Zone venues. Don't miss out on this amazing deal.
You know, I love it when we have a lot of spiels because that means we're really, really growing, and we're still not done because you can get the 2,000 pesos discount on your next purchase by using the TT Racing X MPL Philippines exclusive voucher code MPL 2000 over at ttracing.ph.
Plus, don't miss out on exciting TT Racing gaming chair giveaways during MPL Philippines. Just stay tuned for more info.
Just remember, for those who dream, work, and play, TT Racing has your back. And now you really want to use that voucher code because earlier they debuted an amazing collab with Naruto, and I have my eyes set on getting that Kakashi. And Hans earlier on interviewed that the price actually went down, and with this code you can get it at 12,999 pesos only. So that's a steal, honestly.
That's for the Kakashi chair. There are other prices for the other chair, so you might want to check it out. I honestly miss sitting on a TT Racing chair, you know, but
you know, it's so durable that if you bring it up here, you will fall down.
What? we haven't tried, and maybe we shouldn't.
We shouldn't try
because there's someone right under us. The teams, Onyx Philippines.
Who chose blue side?
Yeah,
Did they choose blue side?
Their staff are right under us. I feel like it was indeed Onyx Philippines who went for the blue side.
Oh, and now you can see all-time MSC kills. Kelra leading by almost a landslide. Second is Benny Cutie, and of course it will also increase once MSC at EWC 25 will start. But all-time M-Series kills, on the other hand, is not Kelra, not Benny, but none other than our reg season MVP. It's Oheb. So, you know, I just like MPL Philippines keep showing us stats that heighten the rivalry of Oheb and Kelra that will get settled.
Yeah.
Now.
And I saw the Baby Cakes duo there too, in terms of those standings. So they've already gotten a lot.
Lala, let's go, Team Liquid!
How are they ending this season?
How will they be able to extend their tournament life? Match point for Team Liquid Philippines. And we have to call, of course, I don't have any more intros, Redmar, so please just jump in.
That in itself is an intro. I will count it. So Liquid going for the Baksha Harith to start things off. Granger's gonna end up in the hands of Onyx. Onyx themselves banned out the Fredrin. Smart call considering that they prioritize the Joy. Kelra's gonna be safe. I think we're really gonna have to look at the Juicin Farsa trade, it seems like, for the two mid laners, and what roamer it will be paired with. We might see some callback to some favorites here, but considering there's an Harith on the other side, maybe Cho might not be the best bet for Brusco.
The draft's happening too fast. The chip's still out there too, in case they might want to consider it, but for now they're going for the Granger. And yes, I did mention the mid laners. I feel like that is something we have to watch and pay attention to later, but it seems like it's gonna be the flex for now. They're saving the mid lane matchup for the second phase.
I think the last time that Carl TZ used the Hayabusa this series, it was a 14-minute game. Could it be the
लय के भन्नु छ अब यसचोटि के भन्नु छ ग्यालेक्सी आयो त यसचोटि के भन्नु छ अब लास्ट गेममा के भन्नु छ भने भनिहाल है
But the lineup of Onyx shows that Saji might end up with Selena again.
There's also a Jushin that's still out there. Like, there are endless options still for the mid lane role, that it might be wise to actually go for those heroes that can just limit whatever Team Liquid Philippines can do, because they've been through that. The Hayabusa and the Harith definitely won't be having a good time if ever
Thing about the draft right now for Liquid is if they want to pick up the Farsa, Onyx could very easily pick up a Gata Kacha in the roam for Brusco and or Kirk. Badang and the Gata Kacha both flex for both of them. sure they're really thinking about the Gatot Kacha and or the Kufra. They might take away one more mid laner so that the best possible mid laner remains for them. As Valentina is still on the board. Have to remember that. Take away the Faramis.
What are the chances that Super Prince decides to use the Selena, suggests coach why not go all out?
Yeah, actually very possible for both. Possible for as a red 4 pick for Sanji, blue 4/5 for Onyx. Wait a minute. Angela. Oh! For Liquid. But it's not going to be on a Baksha jungle if ever. It's going to be on a Baksha roam. I don't think we're going to see an Angela here. CC Glue trade in the EXP still active. There's Glue.
Blue 4th pick for Sanford there. It's now Onyx Philippines. What's it going to be for Super Prince?
Yeah. Super Prince still has a couple of options.
For Kurt, you guys mentioned the Gatot Kacha. It could be a flex for both again. Badam and...
They could bring back either a Valir or a Veil for him. Valentina, not a lot of options. Farsa would still be okay, but let's see. He gets a Selena.
Yeah.
And Brusco will still go for the Cho. They're going for pick off. They're going for the crowd control. He ended up with it as Sanji did not pick it up.
What is with these mid lane gods that when their backs against the wall, they want to use a harder mid laner to pull off?
It's a good point.
And then we see the Zas.
Guys, we're about to lose. This game is so difficult.
मेरो गेडा मेरो गुल्ला अब त अरे 15k माल जम्मा गर्नु नि छ गेडे अरे डढायो यार अघिसम्म ओनिक यतार उतार लडी यता उति भन्दै थियो अहिले जित्न आडेपछि चाहिँ डढाउँदो रहेछ यार ताइट
I'm honestly looking at 2 picks here. The Selena for Onyx, the Glue for Liquid.
I'm thinking about how the Kimmy is gonna fare in this game. It has to worry about the Joy. It has to worry about the Badang, the Cho even. It might be forced to bring out a Purify when it comes to it.
I mean, that's why they gave her a jetpack that she can fly with now. That is safer, and she deals damage along with it.
So there you go. We're seeing even Oheb with the Purify.
Yeah, 2 Purifies here for TLPH. Match point for them. Is it gonna be Team Liquid Philippines crawling back to the lower bracket to regain their crown? Let's see as we enter Game 6 of the Grand Finals. Casters, take it away.
And once again, we jump into the land of...
Let's go Team Liquid! Let's end the game!
Will we see a Game 7?
Let's end the game, Ekada. Let's end the game.
Of Lakas ng Pinas. The world is watching. This could be it.
Match point. 1 win away. It's the Cavalry. Some of the emblems. Double boots for Kurt. Brusco.
Brusco forced to flicker out. Sanji, relentless. Do they want to do this? Friends forced to dash in to protect his roamer.
That's too close for comfort, man.
Yeah, way too close. Oh, Kara. Getting pressured. No shadow kill just yet for Carl T's. He's still level 3. Brusco and Super Friends willingly took that trade. 2 flickers burned though by Onyx. 1 on the Cho, 1 on the Granger.
Liquid are firing off on all cylinders. Barely a minute in.
That just, I mean, dealing with Kimmy like this just feels bad.
Oh, JP forced to use to revitalize. Just 1 HP and a dream does not survive. King Kong comes in, draws first blood.
You gotta do something, and they catch JP.
Oh! Carl Teasy finds a better target though, scoring 1 on Kalra.
They get the God in the gold lane down quickly. JP fell in mid, but Liquid got the more favorable trade.
And it went, both junglers have a kill here, so, you know, but ultimately that's what happened. It all started with burning those flickers you mentioned earlier on, Renmar. So, again, this is the downside of dealing with a Kimmy. The poke is great there, especially paired up with this Baksha. And again, it's going to be that tanky kind of front line that Onyx Philippines has to deal with when they approach these objectives. First hurdle of the game is now up. This is going to be a little bit difficult. Brusco not level 4 though.
Sanford's going to hit level 4 first. He will have grab.
Carl Teasy catches that arrow with his face. Sanford now threatening a grab, spacing out Kirk, spacing out Prince. In comes King Kong. JP misses. Retribution not needed because Kirk will secure JP. And Sanford very low. A trap going down Sanji. Down goes Dad. Sanford caught between a rock and a hard place. Finds the grab on the Brusco. Oh, he's circling around the super fam. They are not going to do good things to him.
Yeah, Sanford's got nowhere to go.
40! He's trapped.
He's
trapped.
Nowhere else.
He's just buying time.
That's it. I mean, for that kill, not for the game. I'm not saying like that's it for the game. But
it's the equivalent of having good cardio in an MMA match.
Exactly. Kirk saving Onyx. You know, I've never been a fan of the Kirk Attack name, but I have always admired the Kirk Attack game, and he came in just in time with that flicker, fist bump, fist crack, fist break, all the fists right in the key targets, and Carl Teasy was able to get his retribution off in time, but it was difficult considering that he had to shadow out away from the pressure that Brusco was dealing onto him. And when Carl Teasy got in, it was just a second too late. It was Kirk who miraculously got the last hit.
Yep, so a little bit of a lead here for
Nothing too major. Liquidले पनि चान्स दिएको हो क्या दुई तीन चोटी चाहिँ मरे जस्तो गर्छ क्या सुरुमा बुझेनौ
You could go for some pick-off potential. Now paired up with the Abyssal Arrows, those are also something that can work around Onyx Philippines' game plan. It's go for picks, see if you can isolate someone down, and then scale up. And that's already happening for King Kong, having those 2 early kills on this Joy. And like we mentioned, there's Brusco.
JP thought he caught Brusco, but instead he caught an arrow and a trap, slowing down and breaking Onyx formation.
Slowing down, a key phrase here. With the Abyssal Arrows getting tossed out by Super Prince, stopping what JP wants to do on the map, to get in the good position, to get in a surprise flank angle. Carl Teasy steals away. A rock golem away from King Kong.
A game of inches. Carl Teasy is slowly but surely creeping up, getting more value than King Kong, and those things add up.
Turtles up here once again. Second one. Sanford will go ahead and just try to keep Kirk at bay this time. They'll spot out King Kong as well.
40
damage.
Gets that grab on the Kirk. Gets him closer a little bit to Liquid. JP going hunting. Jumps one. Got one more in the tank. Gonna let that one go. Slow take here. Goes, bumps right into Kelra. Dodges an arrow.
Oh, JP could be in trouble. Pops to revitalize, but it's too much damage.
Salmon Force dropped in by OM. But Onyx do not want to take this fight. Another arrow thrown out by Super Prince. The coast is clear. Men all around. Just waiting. Which one's gonna pull the trigger first and take the turtle?
Yeah, okay. JP got caught out there, but wait. Ooh, Sanji sidestepping. You mentioned a game of inches there earlier. That arrow almost landed. Let's see if TL... No, it doesn't look like Carl Teasy will be able to get here in time. Another free turtle for Liquid as Carl and OF go up top.
They might just try to trade up top. Kelra burning the flicker. So, again, that's something down, but objective going to the hands here. Second turtle to Onyx Philippines. King Kong will secure that. The fight, though, for the purple buff.
King Kong kept his retribution. The confidence in the face of Sanford. Committing grant that purple. Carl Teasy. He's starving here. And this fight's about to break out. Sanford looking for the grab the kick by Brusco. Down goes Frizz. Carl Teasy gets his kill. And they're not done. Sanji firing away. JP pops the puissance. Brusco at about half health. Kirk goes for the crack.
Here's Kelra taking a shot off, but there, they disengage even with Kirk finding a few and then burning the flicker. So they'll go ahead and just reset after that.
It's a small consolation as Sanford was able to get the right grab to ensure that Super Prince would get taken down. But the Hayabusa of Carl Teasy does not have his purple buff as King Kong, as mentioned, saved the retribution. They invaded, and now Liquid have to find a way to recover. Thing is, the only way to recovery might be through brute force.
Seems that way, and playing around this kind of pick-off potential, TLPH. We'll see what they can get, but also you look at across the lanes there, it's relatively even. You know, they've been doing their, hold on, JP too. He's gonna be fine, tanky enough, but they've been doing their due diligence to go ahead and maintain as much as they can, and you notice in a lot of these fights and the objectives where Kelra will go ahead and swing down quicker.
अब एक गेम टिमले कुले जित्छ अनि त्यसपछि म पनि जान्छु.
Really important to them earlier on to have that physical damage because of this kind of lineup, because even if you get the Badang combo off, you got to be able to have that follow-through damage, and sometime, mid lane.
Super Prince got 40 on him. This is going to be enough. Oh! kept in place by Kirk. And now underneath here too. Up top, Kelra gets bombed by Oheb and JP. The Salmon Force still active. Brusco might regret this. Arrow thrown out. No one home. Another crash by Kirk. Down goes Brusco. Oheb is bloodthirsty. Kiel 1 gets a triple. Kirk looking to punish. Oheb gets some shields. Synchro fishing through. Dashing out. Picking this fight. Salmon Force still on cooldown inside the base. It just came off of cooldown. Gave over a kill to Kirk, the shutdown.
The value for Oheb and the triple there.
Massive play for Oheb. Lord still goes to King Kong.
Carl TC hesitated. What was that?
What? A hesitation on the retry.
I don't think he saw King from the off angle, and literally King just dashed in retried, and now Carl TC has all of the regrets.
That's Grand Theft Turtle right there, man.
Highway robbery.
That's just...
Joseph, somebody better call the cops.
Somebody get somebody. Because right now they're going to get a turret off of that too. Objectives are still building up for Onyx and Brusco, checking things out. So even with whatever Oheb was able to pull off there, ultimately they still have a lot of ground to cover from not letting this game and this lead slip out of their hands.
A major story thread that underlines our playoffs is redemption. King Kong.
Underneath here too. Down bottom. Salmon Force not enough to keep Oheb and JP alive. Onyx just ran through them.
Oh, you can see the confidence building here for Onyx Philippines. They want that game 7. It was a flicker?
Yeah, Prince flickered. He thought he could get a quick abyssal arrow off to stun Carl TZ. Liquid still holding on to the third and mid.
Sanford holding out, pushing back the rest of Onyx. Gets the grab onto Kirk. But now Kelra dashes forward, almost takes out 40.
Onyx getting closer and closer to forcing game number 7 to leave it to a best of 1 to defend their throne, but this game is not over yet. 3,500, Oheb's at level 10, Kelra's at level 12. Oheb doesn't have the Holy Crystal just yet. It's going to take quite some time, while Kelra already up to a Malefic Roar and I believe a Wind of Nature or Sea Halberd. Damage for Onyx, much better.
JP finds the angle, forces the puissance from JP. That was the point of no return. Carl TZ, shadow. Sanji gets popped by King Kong. Kelra looking to fire back. Hits Sanford. The Salmon Force from Oheb ineffective.
That's a whole lot for Onyx again as they continue to stack on the lead. Carl TZ still up, but Kirk and Brusco will keep him at bay as long as they can. Shadow kill gonna be used, so Kirk is gone.
But Kelra looking at the baby cakes duo. Kelra be hungry. Forcing his Salmon Force, dashing through that wall. That was close. Kelra is a man possessed. He just wants to keep going.
I am both equally mesmerized and terrified by the god that Kelra has become in the gold lane. 5-2-0, but it's not just all Kelra. We have to credit King Kong and his efforts. Brusco, Friends, Kirk, everyone on the side of the Super Fam has showed up when their throne is at most threatened. They hold on, and they are playing one of the best games they've played all series long. The entries on point, the man marking, the pickoffs, everything. But can they finish it here? Or will Liquid somehow defend?
This is like one of those moments that we saw from TLPH when they had this kind of lead. There's Brusco!
Jumping in with the flicker, gets that kick on the 40. Salmon Force dropped in by Owen, not gonna be enough. He goes down, Kelra gets a double. Shadow kill by Carl TZ, fails to find anyone. Onyx, scatheless.
They can still go ahead, punch on in, and arrow's gonna land, but ultimately, they just want these turrets. We'll see that they still hold on to all base turrets right now. Some of the shields are popped. Super Prince will disengage. Kelra's here. We'll see if they can still cap this one out. An arrow's gonna land, but ultimately the shields keep things together. King Kong will go ahead and back off, so TLPH is okay. They are facing a huge deficit, 8,000 gold, but they stay in the game.
Everything about the lineup of Onyx screams instant gratification at this point. Press ultimate once or twice, burst. Too much for Team Liquid to handle. While the damage output of Team Liquid at this point, again, they're playing around the Kimmy in the mid lane. Yes, the Harith Still on the way to Holy Crystal, not quite there yet in the damage. Will deal a lot of damage. It's like there's a process to it. It's more complicated to play the game that Team Liquid wants to play. Well, Onyx can just toss out an Abyssal Arrow, tell King Kong go in, pop your ultimate, tell Kelra, who is so far away from the action, to just toss out the Death Sonata. It's so much easier right now for Onyx, and they have an almost 10,000 gold lead. This is going to be a massive crawl for Liquid and an easy.
आया था Galaxy अरे Galaxy आया नहीं यार अगी जीतेको.
Damage under the turret, they're gonna break down.
Zone Force dropped in already by Oheb. Look at King Kong dives on a Sanji. Oheb does take out Brusco, but is that gonna be enough? Shadow!
Lovely को छोरी. Lovely.
King Kong, Liquid's first win in quite a while, and it comes at the cost of their top lane inhibitor.
18 seconds before the.
ओ टेक्सस जुट्टी खोइता यार अझै आएन त यार. हाँ टेक्सस जुट्टी अझै आएन त यार.
Look good for Liquid. A Super Prince Kelra and Kirk can hold on here.
Lovely को छोरी है. Lovely है. Lovely है.
At this point, they have to play for the dance.
But a chance is a chance. It looks like Liquid is willing to take it. There's not enough of a front line nor a back line damage source to threaten Oheb, to threaten Liquid.
Well, they know King Kong's not back up just yet, so they might go for the blitz here. JP up on the front side, gonna try to keep Kirk at bay.
Fritz still throwing out these arrows. Carl Deasy got hit by one. JP goes. The retribution, the shadow kill. Carl Deasy secures. Gets taken out by Kelra. Liquid PH getting on out of here. The coast is clear, but Liquid might not be able to back out. Brusco takes out Oheb. Lord spawns.
Oh, Sanji's still up, but Sanford's gonna have to sacrifice himself. They might have the Lord, but they're wiped out.
Ladies and gentlemen, all over the world, it is my pleasure to say we're going all the way.
Game number 7 for immortality. It falls down to one last one between the gods of the game and Team Liquid.
We wouldn't have it any other way. We're gonna have to throw it over to the panel, Brigida and Ingan, to break down this game 6.
The race for the first one to raise the Immortal Cup down to one game. Oh my goodness. Again, the Selena.
खोइ बोली अरे तिमीले रनमा केही नहालेर नहान्ने भनेर मात्रै हो क्या नत्र लिक्विडले जितेर म चाहिँ गेमै सकिसक्थ्यो क्या अहिले अहिले यति बेला रनमा कप उठाउँदै हुन्थ्यो
4 rings, 4 championships for Carl and JP, or the third team to go back to back for the Super Fam. And we have our MVP of that game, no other than the Bruiser himself, Brusco.
खोइ बोली अरे तिमीले रनमा केही माल्दिन्छु भनेको अघि लिक्विडले जितिसकेको थियो क्या रनमा
Flicker away of the dragons from Brusco, which just throw off Team Liquid Philippines and all of their plans, which just suddenly force them to back away and worry about all the follow-up Abyssal Arrows that can also come in, the follow-up damage from King Kong that can also come in. Brusco has said so much of how this game has turned out from the very beginning. He reminded us of how he was able, or how he's just able to play the Joe.
That was not just a reminder, more than a reminder, it was a statement for not just TLPH, but for all of the people watching, that the Bruiser has got it. Whatever you want, the Badang, the Cho, even the Angela, he can pull it off. And the Super Fam again.
Yeah.
You know, this is the second consecutive time, Brigida, that the grand finals of MPL Philippines finally reached.
यति बेला ओएले लभली हानेको थियो यार
This guy, he's done so much. We did mention all of the setups. We did mention all of the interruptions that he's been able to offer. But beyond that, I feel this lead wouldn't have ballooned to this point if it weren't for his consistent denial of Carl TZ and a peaceful jungling in the early stages of the game. He limited Carl TZ so much, who, by the way, seems to be up there, seems to be ahead in terms of how quick he's just able to get all that XP, level up, and actually contest the turbo jungling patterns we know of King Kong even. But Brusco did so much in terms of stopping him in doing that.
Yeah.
And that just denied Team Liquid Philippines of playing aggressively as much as they wanted to. They had the Baksha, they had the Hayabusa, they had the glue. These heroes, they could just all go in at the same time. But how could you go in? How could you be confident to go in if you know that you are so much behind?
Yeah, and how can you go in? Because at any given moment, Kirk with the Badang can turn things around with one fist break, fist crack combo that he clearly utilized their advantage. Second 14-minute game done in a flash, a 28 kill scoreboard. An amazing win for Onyx Philippines. And you know, I'm speechless. These guys came prepared, did not disappoint. Whatever happens, whoever wins will deserve the first ever Immortal Cup in S15 of MPL Philippines. And what can you say about that?
Yeah, it's going to be a hard-fought battle between these two teams for the last game we'll be seeing. But this sums it up. Only 4 purple buffs have went to the hands of Carl TZ for the entire 14 minutes we've seen in that game, and 5-8 also is the score for the orange buffs that they were able to secure throughout. So just brings us back to, yes, we didn't see King Kong perform this well on the Joy earlier, but this is him redeeming himself. This is him bringing it back, whereas this is Carl TZ being completely shut down from that beautiful Hayabusa game we also saw from him earlier. And I feel it's not just Carl. You, as Carl, would like follow through whatever JP and Sanford tried to do something. It felt less in sync. It felt like Onyx Philippines were just able to deal the necessary damage towards JP, constantly shutting him down, and Sanford was left to attack everything all alone. That wasn't like the best scenario if you were Team Liquid Philippines.
Yeah, one of the things I think, or sequences that show that they weren't as
चिपले राम्रै गर्न खोजेको हो नि
at the top lane, where he was able to outplay and bought enough.
के हो यिनहरुको यो यार यो चाहिँ पोच चाहिँ के हो यो पोच चाहिँ के हो यस्तो यो पोच चाहिँ यसलाई यो पोचलाई चाहिँ के भन्छ अरे माछ के हो यो पोच
We don't get to see these numbers. I feel like yesterday we did see 1,000, but that was the only one we saw throughout the entire playoffs, and now this is close to 1,000 in the hands of Kelra. So you know that he's just had such a great time in playing this Granger. He's just standing in front of everyone and throwing out the Rhapsodies.
Yeah, and you should also stand in front of everyone, Brigida, because it's your time to shine.
चेक गर अरे केमा चेक गर्ने हो यार
So we are indeed going all the way. So we have another game to break down for you as we head into this segment. Now we start off with the gold difference timeline. So this was the point in the game where it was, I say, slightly in favor of Team Liquid Philippines. That was around the first minute mark, and that was the only time I'd be able to say that, because this was the moment wherein they traded Kelra for JP, and that was the most favorable exchange we've seen in that game, because everything went downhill for Team Liquid Philippines from that point onwards. Again, we did mention that the pressure coming in from Brusco was just too much. They were consistent in terms of denying Carl TZ of his farming, of the way he's just able to secure his buffs freely. It almost always happens that whenever they go for the turtle, which, mind you, all went into the hands of Onyx, they're just able to quickly transition towards the purple buff as well, and that greatly denies Carl TZ of whatever he wants to do. And this has been a consistent trend, allowing the gold lead to grow up to 8K when we approach the 11-minute mark. And the 11-minute mark I'm talking about right now is just 3 minutes before we actually wrapped up the entire game. So you just see that this was a clean game pulled off by Onyx Philippines. You may consider it to be another glitch because this is the second game we saw in less than 15 minutes, but these are just games that are cleanly executed by our teams, and that barely allowed for any room from Team Liquid Philippines to actually fight back. It was just 2 turrets that they were able to get away from Onyx Philippines, and you couldn't do as much. You could barely operate when almost the entire map was covered, when your buffs are constantly being denied from you. And
तिम्रो पोच कस्तो गर्छौ देखाउ त हेरौँ अरे म त्यस्तो लौडी जस्तो पोच चाहिँ गर्दिन त्यो त्यस्तो पोच चाहिँ गर किन बस्नु हो पोच चाहिँ यस्तो गरेर बस्ने हो
just look for the targets, and so that Sanford as well on the glue could just provide the continuous zone.
मेरो पोच चाहिँ यस्तो हुन्थ्यो क्या यो मुजी पोच चाहिँ के हो यो केटीको पोच होइन यस्तो 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 गर्ने के गरेको तिनीहरूले यार यो त केटीको पोच होइन यस्तो गरेर बस्ने
wherein he
टाइट
had to worry about the Selena, the Joy, and that we mentioned too before heading into this game, and it was just tough. It was rough for Sanji overall. Now, if we were to look at the item progressions for our players here in this game, all throughout, you could definitely observe how quick it was for the other members to just rack up on the necessary items. Carl TZ, he took some time before he was able to get his core items, and that was probably what limited them so much. Another key item pickup here from Brusco definitely was the early radiant armor that they were able to secure, because majority of the damage that will come in from the side of Team Liquid Philippines, granted that they were already able to deny Carl TZ much of his farming, was gonna come in from Sanji. But Sanji prioritizing the concentrated energy, well respected too, that there is just too much damage that has to be sustained. There's just he needs just more and more avenues to keep himself in the game, to keep himself alive, and this was clearly a struggle. This wasn't the best scenario for Team Liquid Philippines in terms of the way that they drafted. And how many times
still better than you है दाइ यार थाइट त्यस्ता म्याचमा छक्सहरु रनमा
when we saw Sanji on the Selena, it was great for Team Liquid. Now that we see them against the Selena and in Super Friends' hands, it was too good for Onyx Philippines.
It's becoming an X-Factor pick for our top mid laners so far, not just in the grand final.
किमी मुजी कामै छैन किमी लिएर हुन्छ त रनमै
And it was perfect for them, and now Brigida, best of 7. We are in game number 7. So who's gonna win it? It's gonna be Onyx Philippines versus Team Liquid Philippines, and at this point, whatever happens, happens. Did you have an amazing day?
The day's not over, but I already had an amazing day. These amazing matches, these split pushes, these fights.
There was a split push earlier on.
These chaotic ways of ending the game. I mean, I have all my attention for Game 7.
And let's put our attention to the MPL Playgrounds once again.
Let's take a quick break from our grand finals match. I'm gonna take you to a tour dahil ito rin naman ang pupuntahan ng ating mga players after ng ating championship. So, you can see here the Road to Esports World Cup wall. Makikita natin ang trophy, of course. Ang ating representatives of the Philippines, we have here sa MWI Navi PH and Team Liquid. They are the representatives from the recently concluded Athena League. And on the other side is MSC. Ang representatives natin ay ang Onyx Philippines and Team Liquid.
सकिसकेको थियो यार रनमा गेम यार कत्रो लामो भयो यार
sa ating grand finals ng MPL Philippines Season 15. Isang tanong, isang sagot. Sino ang champion for MPL Philippines S15?
TLPH po.
Who's your MPL PH Season 15 champion?
Of course, TLPH. Yes.
Your MPL PH Season 15 champion?
TLPH.
Onyx. Your grand champion for the season?
Onyx.
And back to where we started, this is MPL Playgrounds na nakasama namin kayo sa loob ng 5 araw dito sa MPL Playoffs. I hope na enjoy nyo lahat ng inanda naming activities para sa inyo. Mula sa meet and greet kasama inyong paboritong players and pupunta sa team showcase na hinanda ng ating mga super fans sa mga palaro at mga prizes. And even nakapag-uwi sana kayo ng mga paborito nyong merch from your favorite team sa ating merch booth and sa ating mga freebies galing sa ating mga sponsors like Infinix, Smart, BPI, TT Racing, Clear, Nor, and Time Zone. So I hope nag-enjoy rin kayo at maraming natutunan sa ating watch party hangout with Ben Things as well as ang ating GG Truck watch party. We can't wait na maghanda pa ng marami para sa inyo dito lamang sa MPL Playground. This is your very own Odin. Balik muna sa inyo, Champions Arena.
Thank you so much, Odin, for giving us another preview of what's happening with the playgrounds so far. A lot of people from the playgrounds are actually voting for TLPH. There are actually liquid girlies out there.
Yeah, and even a lot of the guests we had here in the Champions Arena, they did predict for Team Liquid Philippines, but this is Onyx Philippines putting up a really good championship.
Yeah.
And prove that they're just really up there, you know? Like everyone, the entire world, they just have their eyes on Onyx Philippines.
Yeah, they're the team to beat for a very long while now, ever since start of 28.
कप उठाएको पनि हेर्ने है यार है
24, and now they're
टाइट
on
म चाहिँ कप उठाएको चाहिँ कसले हेर्छ हौ
the third team to be back-to-back champs. You know, Kelra's journey has been amazing. Started out, we could safely say a bit of an immature, but now you can see his maturity pop up, and at the same time, his excellence also show out from being an uncrowned king to finally becoming a champion last season and can become a back-to-back champ. But on the other hand, Carl TZ, JP securing their 4th title.
Yeah.
Man, are they the lead? I think S1's the lead right now, but if they secure it, I think they're all tied.
We'll find the numbers, especially once the series is over, but imagine that. We're on our 3rd best of 7 so far in the entire history of MPL Philippines. That includes Season 7, Season 14,
and today
Season 15. That's this season. So it's only been the 3rd time wherein we see a full game 7. And what's funny is that in all of those games, in all of those game 7s, Kelra has to be part of it.
Yeah.
Every single time.
Every single time. Again, the first one was Blacklist versus Execration, and of course Aurora versus Onyx, and now TLPH versus Onyx, and 2 out of the 3 times also, I believe, Oheb was there. So battle-tested warriors are gunning it out today. Again, the heated rivalry between the 2 gold laners, Oheb and Kelra, still in action right now, will be settled, and I believe we will have a little bit of reinforcements, because the We Bear Bros, they're gonna be with us right now.
Oh, we're calling everyone.
Everyone.
So that's the watch party that's happening all across the Philippines. By the way, Ingan, I hope everyone was able to catch wherever these watch parties are happening right now, because like we have one in Luzon, we have one in Visayas, we have one in Mindanao. We're bringing the MPL experience closer and closer to everyone.
Everyone's having the time of their lives, because again, Game 7, and you can clearly see everyone enjoying. Because who doesn't want a non-stop action here in MLBB? And of course, we also know that a lot are actually restreaming.
Yes.
I actually saw a video yesterday about streamers and even casters internationally reacting to the amazing play that
लिम्बेको मुख हेर्न पर्छ TLPH हारेछ
top of their lungs. So, you know, they're far from the Philippines, but they're enjoying the fight, enjoying the action.
अब हेर न अब हेर रनमा कसको के हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा म चाहिँ तिमीहरुलाई थाहा भइहाल्छ नि
Who would have thought? I mean, I expected it. I mean, it's Onyx and TLPH.
I feel like everyone in the MPL playgrounds right now, having the watch party with Ben Things, are suddenly getting a boost in terms of how they're gonna play in their ranked games. I feel like doing a watch party with Ben Things is very informative and very fun at the same time, and it's just it looks so cute, right? If you imagine it, you have a question, then you can approach Ben Things, and then he'll just answer you because he's right there.
And then he'll say his tagline. Do you know his tagline?
What's his
It goes
tagline?
like this: "Sana makatulong." In English, that means hopefully it helps.
Yeah.
Coach Ben Things, turned content creator, one of the best content creators, by the way, and one of the main reasons why it's so hard to play RG in the Philippines.
Oh my goodness.
Shout out to you, Ben Things, Fuego, LJ, and even our co-casters here, Renmar, Umi, everyone.
Do you see that?
What's happening at the back?
I see Kimmy.
There are Valentinas out there, the IMUs, the cosplayers.
Oh.
Kimmy, what's the big one? But this big
I was
one.
wondering, what do you mean, Valentina?
This big one is a
लास्ट गेम कडा लास्ट गेम यो राउन्ड मात्र सर किमी बनेर आएको रहेछ म्याच अब त्यही किमीले डुबाइरहेछ यार
because it's gonna be the final game of the season. It all comes down to this. Will it be a back-to-back for the defending champions?
ओ गोल पास आयो कि टेक्स छुट्टी मैले यहाँ पीसीमा अहिले देखाउँदैन क्या मेरो यो म्यासेज गोल पास आयो त्यहाँबाट मलाई बिल्डर सिल्डर स्पिड ठोक्नेहरु दिदैन केही पनि पाइन त यार गोल पास लिए मैले के गर्नु यार
Hey, what up, guys?
That was a not that long intro, but it was a
It was factual.
one.
It was a factual one. So Redmar, are you still there?
Yeah, no, I'm still here. I'm just blushing over all the gushing that you're doing. Low Yi right away for Sanji.
Ho, ho, ho.
I wouldn't be surprised if Super Friends ends up with the Selena later on.
Oh my goodness, that's such a high possibility right now, considering that they just came from a...
Selena! What early on? What later on? They want to pick it now. Selena for Super Friends in the mid lane and Harith.
Look at his face! Look at how they were just shaking hands right after they picked that Selena.
You know, at this point, I feel like all the players are involved in this draft. Everyone's saying, I want to use this hero, and I'm going to dominate with this hero.
Yeah, I'm a bit iffy about, like, the backshow is there. But considering that there's a Selena again, there'll just be so many ways to stop him in his tracks.
Nabusa right out of the gate.
Okay.
And the JP. Team Liquid Philippines are pulling out all the stops when they won the championship in MPL Philippines Season 13.
अब आएको छ अब रनमा आएको थियो र काकासी हाताकेले अब सेकाइ हुन्छ है रनमा
Yet again, this time paired up with a Low Yi. Ling for King Kong. Assassin versus assassin. The best picks on the board, but what will OHEB end up with? As Onyx will most likely take the Granger out.
Granger out.
Does that mean the Filipino sniper will end up with the Beatrix?
Oh! Callbacks after callbacks. Nice.
फिलिपिनो स्नाइप नाम चाहिँ म्याच किन फिलिपिनो स्नाइपर छ लौडा जस्तो मुजी कोन्डो जस्तो ग्रेन्जर खेलेर बस्यो जति बेला पनि यार
Onyx, who are they going to respect this time still? No XP laners and gold laners. Will it be the Granger, the Moscow bans for South Earth, or the Beatrix on the Filipino sniper?
For Team Liquid Philippines, though, the XP laners might be huge X factors as well in terms of their bans for the next few, or in terms of their last two bans. They take out the Joe instead, however, but fortunately for them, at least they don't need to worry about the AoE mages. The Selena's already revealed to us by Onyx Philippines, so it's mostly just really on the XP laners and the roamers that they'll have to worry about in terms of landing those diversions and shortcuts.
You guys mentioned that Glue for sure will be present almost 100% in this game, but we see it now.
Granger's oh, Phobius is out. Excuse me, I'm very excited about that Granger. The Badang.
अघिको लिङको तिर्पल किल अरे अघिको मुजी लुईले मुजी खुत्ता उता बेसमा गएर खुलित्ता पारेको थाहा छ कि छैन
Damage already. They need a little bit more if they want concurrent ones. Edith is still actually in play for Onyx. We haven't seen it all series for long, and it's been a rare pick this entire playoffs. But it could show up. With a Joe out, mobility, Matilda gone as well. Baksh is gone. Khalid might be in play for Onyx. Khalid Batang.
Khalid Badang, Charizla. There's a Gatot too. They want to consider the AOG.
Yeah.
Just jumping in whenever in Team Liquid Philippines. Whenever Team Liquid Philippines actually tries to go for a setup.
Hilda.
Oh, but they pick up the Hilda. They might want to replicate how they denied Carl Tizzy so much in the previous game.
Just all I ask for is we get a Beatrix on OHEB.
If we're not seeing the Lancelot on Carl Tizzy this series, then at least the Beatrix.
Give us that.
Beatrix for OHEB.
Beatrix to Rizla.
Yeah. Yeah, Terizla.
You need something tanky. Beatrix Glue, I think, maybe.
Glue ban छ मुजी
Another Glue game for Sanford. How's he gonna feel
Glue
about
ban
that?
छैन ब्ल्यान ट्रेनर
And
चाहिँ
it's so
रन्डी
mobile.
कति खेल्छ ग्लु
Maybe
पनि
throw
हो
it back
मुजी
a Benedetta
मुजी
even.
भने चाहिँ मुजी
Nah, still the Granger.
टाइट म्याच कति खेलेको लौडीको बाल यार ग्रान्जर र म्याच किनी ग्लु मात्रै खेल्छ त हौ
Playing around Sanji's Low Yi. Can I just say
एउटै हिरो कति खेलेको यार
BB this series, he's played Glue.
I don't know how it feels to play all Glue. I mean, Hans probably knows.
काइरी छैन र काइरी हैन यो एमपीएल उयो हो क्या फिलिपिन्स हो क्या
Action XP laners we've been seeing from Sanford. Now it's the Gatot Kacha indeed that they pick up to wrap up this draft. Woo! Oh my goodness.
Before we analyze, I just want to say Brigida, Ingan, thank you for an amazing season. You have done
Kairi
amazing.
पहिला ओनिक बाट खेल्थे हैन काइरी अहिले पनि ओनिक बाटै खेल्छ कडा हो
You two, let's witness history together.
अहिले पनि काइरी ओनिक बाटै खेल्छ तर ओनिक इन्डोनेसिया बाट खेल्छ क्या
Are set for Game 7. In the 7 long years, we have witnessed legends, titans come out on top. But this game will determine who will be immortalized and raise the Immortal Cup. It's a battle between S13, S14 champions. Battle between M4, M6 champions. Battle between the Golden Goat and the Young Goat. This is the grand final.
Last game हो भाइ last game जसले जित्यो जित्यो जसले जित्यो जित्यो है त Let's go TLPH है त Team Liquid Philippines. Let's go.
The Wee Bear Bros to bring you Game 7, the last one of S15. Who will raise that Immortal Cup?
Pop quiz, this is our first collective best of 7 that we share as a desk. Quick action in mid, Super Prince already at half health, Sanji as well. Quick peek at the emblems.
Okay, nothing too crazy, except for Super Prince's Abyssal Arrows constantly landing in the center of the map. Time itself holds its breath for this moment in history. For those who achieve immortality, dare not be afraid of the passing of the ages. Can the timeless legacy of Carl TZ be immortalized by being the first to
ए
win
ओएब
the
ले
Immortal
मुला
Cup and winning
तिमीहरुले
his
बेट्रिक्स चलाएको थाहा देखेको छैन मुजी कस्तो चलाउँछ रणमतिको छोरीले खेल्दै खेलेन यार म्याच चुतले यार
since December.
This is the first time we've seen Gatot in quite a while.
Yeah, he's been kind of missing, you know, for this series anyway. And it could end up being quite the pick, especially depending on Super Prince. Like, you guys saw his smile in the draft.
Yeah.
Like, this was clearly, a choice between him and, of course, the coaching staff behind him to go ahead and lock this in with confidence. We know that... Oh, Brusco charging on in.
An arrow to go with it. JP backing out, flickering through. Tempest Ablaze by King Kong. Another false engage. An arrow by Super Prince. Like Kung Fu Masters. These two just
कस्तो डिले हेरेर अगर 10 सेकेन्ड डिले छ हो लौडी 10 सेकेन्ड डिले छ
And Super Prince showing why he's been deemed the monster mage on this Selena.
बेट्रिक्स क्या बेट्रिक्स यो यसको ओएब को बेट्रिक्स त बवाल खतरा हो नि
in the center of the map because of all the abyssal arrows.
It's really frightening if you've been against a Selena in your own, matches. The amount of reach, technically, that she has to cause an effect here. Here's a diversion, though. Top side.
Double laning that the Liquid have done. Brusco here, very low. Got that grab on him. Sanji just wailing away. Kurt goes down. Carl DZ goes first blood. Oheb takes down Brusco. Look at King Kong coming through. Taking down Carl DZ. Tempest of Blades out. 2 for 1 the exchange. Super Prince still dashing around. The shortcut still active. Oheb says, does not get to get out of there. Gets hit by Super Prince's arrow.
Okay, he backs off. Oheb was in trouble. But ultimately, it leads down to some extra gold in the hands of Kelra, and this turtle's still up.
Super Prince delaying that means Kelra had all the time in the world to farm up even more. Oheb has a kill, but that Harith is scaling, and they have to watch out for it. So Team Liquid Philippines, let's see how they're going to play the next sequence, knowing that the Abyssal Arrow is something they really need to deal with.
Here we go, Turtles up for the taking. TL's in position, but there's no
range. King Kong secures. Not a response from Liquid. What are they planning?
Liquid decide to give it up. They didn't want to take the risk. Kelra in lane, winning against Oheb so far.
This has been, sometimes I wish we had another camera where we could just watch the gold lane. Because these two when they're playing, they're always going at it. They're always trading. And there's always a moment where, one of them goes down or not. But ultimately, they've tested the limits between each other in that gold lane, and that's what we love to see.
Difficult thing also playing up against a Gatot Kacha as a chip lineup is that the taunt of the Gatot works similarly to how we saw the Kufra gave headaches to JP earlier. The Tyrant's Rage, Revenge, the bouncing balls even. So, as always now, JP really needs to be on point. King Kong in the mid, sees Sanji. Items no clear advantages just yet, still very close in the gold.
Okay, bringing it down to it again. Kind of a little bit of a breather here after
ए भाइ
everything
तिमीलाई
we've
बेट्रिक्स
seen.
को गेम में
We gotta
देखेको छैन
remember
यार
throughout the
ओएफ को
series
यो मुझी
how
ओएफ
it's
ले
been.
मैच चिकन यही ग्रेन्जरै मात्र खेलो त्यो स्यान पडले मुझी गुल्लु मेरो गुल्ल खेलिरहेको छ त्यति बेला पनि
Both these lineups can actually provide the potential to scale up really quickly, get momentum, but the thing is, as good as Onyx Philippines has been doing, kind of managing this early portion of the game, the amount of utility throughout the entire game, the mid and late especially, that the lineup that TLPH has, could actually be troublesome for Onyx Philippines. So I want to see how they're going to go ahead and play against that. I mean, we're talking about a Chip and a Louis Yi.
But at 5 minutes, Joseph, you gotta wonder, maybe too much is too much, right? What do you do with the fact that you can fold the map?
अति डिले हैन 10 सेकेन्ड डिले छ ओ अति डिले भन्छ यहाँ
Not
केटाहरु
much output from Oheb yet or Carl TZ. They do spot Kirk, force him out of that brush, and then they just do it again. They jockey for position, turtle spawning in about 5.
Center of the map, Sanji blown up. Super Prince took a lot of damage as well, though. Gold lane left relatively undisturbed. If Liquid lose this big time, it will be massive, considering they're up against a Harith. So this might be the play. Send Chip with the Granger. So if Liquid lose this, they can instantly shortcut down to the bottom lane.
You can see what's happening here. Yeah, you're playing around the Chip right now. They're going to put pressure here on the bottom side. Kelra knows it. Oh, Conceal's going to be used from JP. Are they going to go?
Flickers in with the shortcut. The Zaman Force drop. Kelra goes in, dashes through, gets taken out by Sanji. And they split out. The diversion to the exit. A feint. King Kong and Super Prince unbothered. Oheb pushes. The turtle here started up by Onyx. JP can spot him. But how do they get back in?
Liquid looks very good for them. All Onyx, though, in full control still. Carl TZ cannot get close enough.
Could be 100% turtles here for Onyx. That seems to be the case, as it's only Sanford looking for a grab. Dashing through and around the remaining members of the Super Fam. Grabs one, the AOG, the answer by Brusco. Sanford, let's go. Kirk very low. Zaman forced by Kelra. Tempest blazes the back line. King Kong going in.
Arrow! The arrow's going to land on Oheb, and Oheb have to flicker out. The fight's still going to be able to break out, and Carl TZ looking for the damage here.
Mr. 2K finds the Filipino Savage.
Oheb.
Down goes Brusco.
Yes! Match gone. Let's go! Let's go! Get a match gone, Team Liquid.
Big time! The Monster Mage almost dashed the hopes of Liquid there.
Match gone.
Liquid held on. The man who they'll name awards after one day is hell-bent on adding immortality to his own.
Damn straight. There's already a world champion.
Lovely Seka, eh?
Oh man, it's just in a matter of that exchange, you get a nice lead for TLPH. They can now build on this. Yes, they lost the turtles, the objectives at first, but that shows that their fighting prowess is playing around that utility, is playing around punishing Onyx Philippines if they're not able to take care of who they need to. And right now, a lot of the times, that's Kelra. He's got to be able to stay alive and farm up on this Harith.
And slowly but surely, I think I see the mad genius behind Coach RC's draft, behind Liquid's plans here. They want to rope a dope, not just in team fights, but across the map.
Takes 10 damn hours to fly to Riyadh from the Philippines. If you can shorten travel time within the Land of Dawn in the best of 7 grand finals, you take that. They're already thinking about the flight. We want to rotate the map, we do it quicker.
They've been there too.
If only we had portals in real life, you know?
I wish.
And shortcuts that we could just drop down.
We'd still end up in the economy version though.
Hey, I'll take that over just actually traveling. But going back to the game right now, it's still nothing too devastating for Onyx Philippines. It's a 2,000 gold deficit. The Lord is coming up. They have somewhat control. I mean, at least they got the one turret down on the top side. But it's TLPH just blitzing the Lord here. It's holding at half health.
Oh, their only hope is if King Kong dashes in, looking for that angle. Carl TZ with the retribution.
Nice! Muji pill! Match gone. एकचोटि हेर्दै छैन
King Kong was blocked by JP. The overtime, the crash course by the chip stopped him from being in retribution range. Remember the fact, hanging over Onyx heads, JP has never lost to Onyx Philippines in the grand finals of MPL PH.
To add to that, Carl TZ, Liquid as a whole is leading in Lord takes, Lord control through the roof. And now they're gonna steal away King Kong's purple.
They're taking everything here. Just in what I thought wasn't too bad of a situation for Onyx Philippines based off everything that Lord and everything they're taking in the jungle. Onyx Philippines is going to find themselves with their backs against the wall at this point, under the 10-minute mark already. And we've seen this earlier in the series. They're going to have to go ahead and buckle in and get ready to just buy time here. This Lord is making its way. They're going to have to deal with it. King Kong took some of that damage. Shield's going to pop and clear out the Lord here, but they're going to lose some of the tier 2 turrets.
Carl actually forced the Tempest of Blades out. Oh, entry by Brusco!
Through an arrow, AOG, clocked in.
Match clear. Han mat. Han. Ron Maya.
Just a wee bit, another holy defense pop.
Costly play by Team Liquid. This means that they have a chance of actually starting to break inhibitor turrets. The window is starting to close for the guys
Liquid.
of the game.
Liquid. Team Liquid. Team Liquid.
And reclaiming what was once theirs.
TLPH, 2 shields down of Onyx Philippines' base, just eyes them out just outside of the walls. They've got not much else to take except maybe that shield up top, but they might just have to reset. Again, TLPH knowing they have to take the discipline route. As stampede as they can be, they still have to respect what Onyx Philippines can do, but look at the disparity in the items here.
Okay, only up to a Thunderbelt Dreadnought armor for that Gauntlet Kacha. Not a lot of magic defense items for Onyx, and that's a problem because the low Yi is one of the main damage sources that Team Liquid has. Same goes for the little bit of magic damage dealt by a chip. They have some Radiant armors to answer that. But King Kong, will he get his purple buff?
Got it.
Secured.
Threaded the needle. That was very difficult. The rest of Onyx was just ready to collapse it if ever something went wrong.
That's 24 seconds gone for the Retribution, though. Team Liquid should know the time, but I think it will be back. Yes. By the time the objectives are up. Lord, okay, Berserker's Fury. Haskell's Endless Battle for the Ling. 3 core items also for Krauti's Hayabusa. King Kong spotted out, but not in trouble.
Hate to say it, there's 2,000 gold between Oheb and Kelra.
It was that play in the early game, man. Yeah. It put Kelra behind.
It's a mid-game snowball.
Yeah.
Oheb is so damn rich.
He's got so much money right now. Lord is up. Carl Teaser will go ahead and start this up. Onyx Philippines, they might have to pull something out of the bag here to make this work. An arrow's going to land, but you don't follow it up just yet. Now under half health. They still calculate this out here.
40 protected starboard. They jump in on it.
Lovely ko chori. Lovely ko chori. Lovely. Lovely sekai. Match chicken. Match chicken.
And on it, call it quits. They don't want none of this.
Yeah, nothing they can do about
Ron
that.
Maya.
With Kirk down, TLPH massive lead ahead.
Team Liquid le jitnai parcha. Team Liquid le jitnai parcha Ron Maya. Jitnai parcha muji. Ko King Kong King Kong. Longdi ko King Kong muji. Yetrak mira gingra ko King Kong match chicken.
The wave clear for Onyx, difficult to pull off. 7,000 in the gold. King Kong steals a buff away from Carl Teasy. No purple for the Hayabusa, but they have the Lords, they have the minions, and they have the lead. Will they have immortality at the end of this siege?
It's a big push for them. Full force for Onyx Philippines. The arrow is going to be thrown out. There's a conceal, though, coming in for the base here.
JP setting it up. Look at the angle
Brusco.
by Brusco, charging up that taunt right in the middle. Smackdown.
Wave more yaar.
King Kong finds him. Tempest of Blades up into the skies. The diversion. The exit. Down goes Sanji. Liquid forced to back off. That was not how they saw it coming. King Kong gets shadow kill on him. Instead of he fingers out another AOG. They want to take out Brusco. Not enough firepower between the remaining members.
Cha yaar, wave more yaar.
Stay collected, and Onyx Philippines will stay in the game.
Brusco had an MVP performance earlier, and he just pulled off an MVP save. He got Oheb in the taunt. We talked about the unbreakable. Perfect target by the Bruiser, and a perfect follow-up by King Kong. Liquid, though, are still definitely in the lead and in the game, but Onyx are beginning to see the light of hope beyond the clouds.
Half a second of that trunch. Half a second of the diversion could have saved Sanji, could have saved Liquid from much more pain, but this does shrink their gold lead and cutting it in half.
Holy Crystal built already for Kelra. Roam boots blessings all around for both Onyx and Liquid, so that their lowest gold earner can catch up in the EXP and the gold. Right now, it's both roamers for both sides.
Onyx Philippines bought themselves the time that they needed, but the question is, was it enough? Or do they still need more? The fight for the purple buff for now. TLPH on this side of the jungle. They know they still have a lead. They gotta calculate this though too. Carl Teasy will go ahead and get in there. King Kong wants the purple buff to set things up for the next objective, but he'll get it. King Kong's fine.
No dice. It's 40 versus the world. I think if Sanford just stepped in maybe an inch forth, maybe 2 or 3 units, that would have been a little more awkward.
Trust in Ling and Selena खुलित्तै.
But I think Liquid just want to play the safe, play it clean.
सान्जीले के गर्नै पर्छ यार सान्जीले अघि सान्जीले खुल्काको त्यो थाहा छ कि छैन कडा हो सान्जीले खुल्काको हो के न गेम
Kirk can only do so much, but a little bit of control in the burst coming in from the hill that might become a difference maker. Again, especially if they could get either the Low Yi or the Granger, get one or the other down, and Onyx increases their chances of lifting up the Immortal Cup. Liquid, they have to play the best dance, the best game they've played in a while. They want to end this before the 20-minute mark.
This is so tough. Again, a lot of this relying on Kirk. Kirk can't get caught out here and taken down or dragged out. Brusco popping the conceal again. Little unbreakable charge, but it's just Stanford that they spot out. They'll go for a reset for now. Not the ideal angle for
तलबाट मिनियनले पुश गर्दै छ
Shame on you, fool me twice, shame on me. I think
तलबाट सान्जी तेरो गेम प्ले देखा सान्जी दिमाग वाला सान्जी
Or do it again. A portal. Can they?
Not sure if they can here. Again, look at this. Look at the placements for JP. Under half health.
And there you go, the retribution by Mr. 2K. Tempest of Blades knocks up Sanford. Kelra takes him down. It's a man out for the cavalry. JP catches an arrow, but still, the surgical approach. Liquid gets a diversion in. The off angle. Onyx, they anticipated this AOG just to make sure Brusco can close the gap.
They knew they couldn't risk it. JP will have his shortcut available to bring Sanford back faster into the game. Minion waves crashing in. Enhanced they are. 16 minutes in Liquid. This looks good for them to end. But can they avoid another Onyx clapback?
Carl Teasy almost forced to respond there. The Lord is inside the base.
Lovely को छोरी lovely match सक्यो मुजी सक्यो King Kong छैन अल्टी छैन best lock मुजी best lock match को मुजी को रनमा या को ओनी भन्ने को लामो को Let's go guys, let's go.
Always remained. Their aura never waned. Their
legacy will
echo as Team Liquid are immortals.
Your MPL Philippines Season 15 champions.
They crawled through the lower bracket. They suffered a sweeping reverse sweep loss. They lost 0-3, yet here they are.
The gods of the game go by many names, but the greatest of all time simply goes by Carl.
ल छ्या म्याच सर यसुटी तिमीलाई म्याच मैले भनेको के न मुजी अघि दिउँसै भनेको के न लिक्विडमा हाल्नु छ भने चाहिँ लिक्विडमा हाल है पैसा भनेर भनेको के न मैले तिमीलाई पैसा मुला लिक्विडमा पैसा हाल भनेको के न रनमाया पत्याउँदैनौ नि तिमी रनमाया नहेर मैले कप उठाएको अरे Let's go Team Liquid.
Onyx very first tournament loss in quite a while. They've won all around the world, but here in the land of champions, in the champions arena, anything less than your best just doesn't cut it.
They are still flying out and will contest for MSC.
Again, and thank you
so
much
the
for
fuck
joining us
Banaki,
English Desk. It's been nice to Leo and Renmar. We're checking out for today. We're going to throw it over to the host and the stage.
ओ यार साथी म्याच छ अरे तिमीलाई मैले त्यत्रो फिलिप के अरे लिक्विडमा हाल भनेको हैन मैले हालेनौ हैन त पैसा हालेनौ हैन त
Gentlemen, you have done it.
आमा च्याम्पियन्स को उयो टी-शर्ट पनि बनाइ छापिसकेको रहेछ यार
Jamie, they went from the lower bracket to reach this point, and now they have claimed victory.
Wow, hands, our victors indeed. Cavalry, can we hear it from you guys?
Gentlemen, I believe, for the first time in MPL history,
MSC मा हेरौँ मुजी त्यो त्यसमा हेरौँ त्यहाँ मुजी M7 मा हेरौँ
and the rest of Team Liquid
जितो नि हैन सक्यो मुजी सक्यो यहाँ जित्यो हैन त यो MPL को कुरा गर न त्यो मुजी MSC मा हेर्छु M7 मा हेर्छु सक्यो त मुजी सक्यो हारो सक्यो जितिसक्यो के गर्छौ अब MPL मा हेरे पनि M7 मा हेरे पनि यहाँ चिक्ने यी कप उठाइहालो के गर्छौ कप उठाइहालो त कप उठाइहाल त MSC उठाउनु ओनिकले हो कि मेरो गुल्लाले हो त्यति बेला थाहा हुन्छ ल अहिलेको लागि चाहिँ यहाँनेर कप उठाएको कसले उठाइरहेको छ त्यो हेरौँ न प्लिज पबजी आइडी नम्बर गेम खेल्न मन छ अरे म पबजी नै खेल्दिनँ यार ब्रो
by people who were already champions in the first place. And I think, with that being said, I'm sure that it felt good. And it is now time for us to present
ल गाइस ल सबैजनालाई भोलि भेटौँला अब
So with that being
है
said,
त
I would like to call on stage the project manager of the Philippine Esports Organization.
तिमीहरु म चाहिँ फर्स्ट टाइम हो सेकेन्ड टाइम हो भनेरै बस तिमीहरु है फर्स्ट टाइम र सेकेन्ड टाइम हो भनेरै बस कप उठाउनेले उठाइसक्यो म चाहिँ अब तिमीहरु MSC मा हान्छ ओनिकले M7 मा इनरलाई 3-0 हान्छ अस्ति भर के भन्छ लिग स्टेजमा पनि 3-0 हानेकै हो इनरलाई त फिक्स जितिहाल्छ भनेकै हो तिमीहरु खायो हैन त उफ उजी
The young goat, Carl TZ.
यङको रनमाया कार्ल टिजी रनमाया अहिलेसम्म म चाहिँ यो जतिको म चाहिँ अहिलेसम्म जित्ने कोही पनि छैन रनमाया म लेजेन्डमा म्याच गर्न काइरी पनि छैन म चाहिँ त्यो रन मात्रै छ र किङकङ सिङकङ कोही पनि छैन यसको अगाडि म चाहिँ तिनीहरु झाट हो यसको अगाडि तिनीहरु म चाहिँ भुसुना हो यो म चाहिँ सिंह भने यिनीहरु अरु म चाहिँ जंगलरहरु म चाहिँ भुसुनाहरु हो क्या बुझ्यौ नि यो म चाहिँ कार्ल टिजी भनेको गोट हो M2 MT3 देखि जितेको च्याम्पियन हो यो रनमा अनि त्यो म चाहिँ काइरी र किङकङ हिजो अस्ति आएको म चाहिँ फुचीहरु हो गोट फर अ रिजन क्या म चाहिँ बुझ्यौ नि
Give it up for Coach RC. And Team Liquid.
मुझे अब ठुलो कुरा नगर लाऊ अरे या
They will also be having a lot.
यसचोटि तिमीलाई म चाहिँ मैले त्यत्रो भनेको हो कैन तिमीलाई मैले भनेको हो कैन टिम लिक्विडमा उयो गर भनेर भनेको हो कैन पैसा हाला भनेको हो कैन
Can we ask Team Liquid Philippines everybody to please post in the middle over here with Mr. Kabuay as well. Once again, your champions, Team Liquid Philippines.
पायो जितेसी भन्न पायो अरे च्याम्पियन लकडाउ लाग्देको गाइज ल सबैजनालाई थ्यांक यू सो मच फर वाचिङ थ्यांक यू सो मच फर सपोर्टिङ मी एभ्रीवन बाय बाय भोलि भेटौँला है त टिम लिक्विड लेट्स गो ल सबैजनालाई बाय बाय